Black Alpha Network. Home of Black excellence. Power to the people.
Back during slavery, when black people like me talked to the slaves, they didn't kill him. They sent some old house Negro along behind him to undo what he said. You have to read the history of slavery to understand this. There were two kinds of Negroes. There was that old house Negro and the field Negro. And the house Negro always looked out for his master. When the field Negroes got too much out of line, he held them back in check. He put them back on the plantation. The house Negro could afford to do that because he lived better than the field Negro. He ate better, he dressed better, and he lived in a better house. He lived right up next to his master in the attic or the basement. He ate the same food his master ate and wore his same clothes. And he could talk just like his master. Good diction. And he loved his master more than his master loved himself. That's why he didn't want his master hurt. If the master got sick, he'd say, "What's the matter, boss? We sick?" When the master's house caught a fire, he'd try and put the fire out. He didn't want his master's house burned. He never wanted his master's property threatened. And he was more defensive of it than the master was. That was the house Negro. But then you had some field Negroes who lived in huts, had nothing to lose. They wore the worst kind of clothes, they ate the worst food, and they caught hell. They felt the sting of the lash. They hated their master. Oh yes, they did. If the master got sick, they prayed that the master died.
Okay, one love, Black Alpha Network, home of Black excellence, certified Black society. Make sure you subscribe to the channel right now if you haven't already. Smash that like button. But right here today, we ain't taking no breaks. We ain't taking no time off. We gonna get right to it right here, right now. Let's go on one.
This is a fascinating piece of reporting we're going to talk about now. We're going to start with this photo. It's from September 9, 1957, and it shows Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones among a crowd of white students trying to keep black students from integrating at an Arkansas high school. This is a Washington Post reporting. Reports that Jones, who was 14 at the time, could be seen standing a few yards from where the 6 black students were being jostled and repelled with snarling racial slurs by ringleaders of the mob.
Family. First off, I appreciate everybody for tapping in. Make sure you smash that like button. Man, let's put it all on the line today. Let's clear some motherfucking weight today because shit got to get addressed. We're going to break down all these zaddy protectors, all these Massa lovers, all these defenders, these wishful thinkers, every goddamn body. Everybody catching some smoke today because we see the way the game is flowing. We see the propaganda. We see the play on words. We see the hustling, the con, the tricks. 99% of this shit is calling out the lies. That's what it is. If you can't see through lies and you can't see through bullshit, you'll never be able to operate in the system of supremacy. And remember, in the system of supremacy, the main goal is to replace it with a system of justice. That justice revolves around black empowerment, foundational black American empowerment. And the best way to empower it is to regulate. And since we are some B1 certified regulators, we about to do some regulating.
A little context here. The Cowboys are one of 7 teams not to have had a black head coach and have had 2 black coordinators since Jones has owned the team, but their highest football executive vice president of player personnel, Will McClay, is black. Jones has complied with the Rooney Rule in which teams have to interview minority candidates. Jones said his decisions are made for business reasons, not race.
Y'all hear every goddamn excuse. Y'all hear it? Even the announcers, when they announce the story, are providing excuses. That's another thing they do in supremacy. They always make it look like they're playing the even side. They're always making it look like they're being fair, but everything is always weighted to the culprit. The culprit gets the benefit of the doubt 100 times out of 100 in the system of supremacy. The criminal gets the benefit of the doubt 100 times out of 100 in the system of supremacy. This is how you maintain the system of supremacy. This is why it goes on for years. So when they're not playing stupid, when they're not acting like we don't know yet what could be, what is, was now, when they're not doing all that shit, they're saying things like, well, you know, he was 14. He was a child. He was a kid. You hear all that type of shit. They make sure that they insert those terms so they can spin it on you. And whenever you call it out, they'll be like, well, hold on now. He was a kid now. He was this, he was that, he was young. It's always how innocent they are. We done seen big grown ass 25, 35-year-old supremacists and they'll refer to him as a child. You feel me? You'll see a big grown ass, knew what the fuck I was doing, thought it out, planned it out, wrote a motherfucking manifesto, scripted it, wrote it in cursive, ran a whole sting operation, and they'll still make excuses for him. That's what they do. If it isn't he was young, he was a child, it was a long time ago, oh, he was mentally sick. All those things are designed to make the criminal look like the victim. But when it comes to black folks, it's designed to make the victim look like the criminal. That is the system of supremacy. Remember, when you deal with spineless people, you get spineless shit. And these motherfuckers ain't got no spine. Never have, never will. So when you start looking at the Jerry Jones situation, as well as all these other situations, the Carolyn Bryant situation, all you see is a bunch of people running around here protecting Zaddy. Yes, the Zaddy protectors. Whether that is the dominant society or that's these tap dancing, coon walking, butter biscuit chasing ass people like this guy.
I'm pretty pissed off. And let me say this. I'm pissed off, but not for reasons that people would think. I'm very, very fond of Jerry Jones, and I'm not hiding that from anybody. Is his record perfect? No. But I'm pissed off because he doesn't deserve what just happened. He doesn't deserve it. Our report said he was 14 years old. Another report said he was 15 years old. At minimum, that's 65 years ago.
Family. Didn't I say they got a phone? That phone has a number. They pick up this phone and they place phone calls. And when they place this phone call, these motherfuckers come out the woodwork and do all types of tap dance. Didn't I say that? That phone is called the coon phone. The number is 1-900-COON. And when it rings, guarantee you somebody is going to answer, and they going to answer talking this shit right here.
You going to bring up a picture of Jerry Jones standing at this protest. No question what was happening is not something that anybody as a black person should be appreciative about. We had 6 students at that particular North Little Rock High School that was trying to desegregate the school.
No one should be okay with it.
Nobody should be okay with that.
Regardless of
We
race.
understand that. We get all of that.
Goddamn. Ain't no motherfucking shame. Ain't no shame. This is the type of shit that we be calling out. This is the type of shit that we be regulating. And today we're gonna break down how to regulate all this shit. This shit's all gonna get broke down, put on the line, G-check immediately, ASAP. And we're gonna talk about how we run motherfuckers like this out the pen. And that's what we do around here. Yes, indeed. Now, I want y'all to notice, the first thing that you see whenever you're dealing with a Zaddy protector is that they get mad. They get mad. They don't get mad about justice, about human rights, about what's correct. No. The only thing that pisses them off is if you come after they Zaddy. That's it. Stephen A. Smith started off saying he's pissed off. He said he's mad. He's not mad at anti-black racism. He's not mad at the system of supremacy. He's not mad at what black people have had to deal with in this country for 500 years. Oh no, he's not mad at that. Nah, he's mad that people are getting upset with his Zaddy because that's who he's beholden to. These people love Zaddy more than they love their goddamn self. They are spineless, and this is exactly what you get when you deal with a spineless ass person. You get spineless shit. And that's exactly what it is. It's the same exact thing that Shaq does. Same exact thing that Charles Barkley does. They ain't got no goddamn spine. I'm telling you. You can say some shit about their mama and they'll be like, well, you know, I mean, okay, I hear you now. You say some shit about Jerry Jones, about Joe Biden, about the Democratic Party, then they'll be like, hold on now. That's them their fighting word now. I rolls my sleeves up. Don't you say that. I'll be kicking your ass. This is what I'm talking about. Stephen A. Smith never gets mad at anything W. I've actually seen him on the show with a W talking bad about him, and he would talk around it and start talking about black people. Didn't I just say Jalen Rose had to apologize, and when he apologized, he threw black people under the bus? They don't know how to get mad at W's. First off, even if they wanted to get mad at W's, they ain't got the motherfucking spine to stand on the shit in the first place. The only thing these people know how to do is get mad at other black people, is to throw other black people under the bus, and to make excuses, justifications, and alibis for the people they love, and the people they love all start with a W. All right, that's what it is. They love the dominant society more than they love their motherfucking self. This ain't nothing but Samuel L. Jackson on Django Unchained. That's what it is. All that shit. People think that shit's funny. Motherfuckers be laughing. Hell no, that's these motherfuckers in real life. There's a whole lot of these motherfuckers out here. They will fight you over their Massa. Ray Lewis. Y'all remember when Ray Lewis was hugging on the owner of the Baltimore Ravens? Hugging on that man. Now, you ever see that man hugging on Ray Lewis? Mind you, this guy is making the owner millions of dollars. And he's sitting there hugging on him. The slave will always be a slave because the slave is beholden to Massa. That's what it is. These is Massa lovers and zaddy protectors. They've always been this way. When you start dealing with these folks, you got to know what it is. All that shit, we're going to wait for them to wake up and we're going to give them some time. Fuck no. These people are all lost causes. The bus has to go on without them. We're not stopping for one motherfucking second to deal with these people. Only thing that we need to do with them is G-check their ass and keep it moving. Keep it moving all the way to the bank, all the way to reparations. Because mind you, these people are never going to assist us in reparations. Nope. They're never going to assist us in tangibles. Nope. They're never going to assist us in our freedom or our welfare or our well-being. Nope. And mind you, these people all benefit from the things that we're doing in the first place. So you know if you're willing to go against people who are working for your benefit so you can help the people who are working to your detriment, your ass is lost, never to be found, don't want to find you. You know how they say, we ain't all gonna make it? I up that one. Oh, family, I created a whole new one. That ain't good enough for me. We ain't all gonna make it. That gives some type of like illusion that everybody wants to come. Nah, fuck that. Black Alpha Network, I changed it. I said, fuck, we ain't all gonna make it. We ain't all getting an invite. These motherfuckers ain't getting no invitation. Ain't no spots on this B1 train for any of these motherfuckers. When that foundational Black American jumbo jet takes off, these motherfuckers is gonna stand right there in the field and keep on picking cotton. Matter of fact, they still be picking cotton if we never told them to stop. If we didn't tell these motherfuckers to stop, they'd still be picking cotton. And how do you know this is true? Is because when black folks got freed, do you know that you had a bunch of zaddy protectors, a bunch of coons back in the day that literally were writing letters saying how the freedom of blacks was going to be the worst thing ever for us? This is what black people said. You got to understand the history. This is what Malcolm X was talking about. What's the matter, boss? We sick? You got the modern coons and then you got the ancient coons. You got coons that were out there trying to stop our great-great-grandparents from doing things. They've always been here. They've always been here. They've always been running around. They've always been trying to help Massa. They've always been trying to bring us down. I've always said this before. We are the only community that has people who look like us who want to tear us down. Yes, every other community, when you sell out, you leave. Okay? You go sell out the Latino community, you leave. You don't want to be around them no more. You get your shit go. You go sell out North Korea right here tonight. Go defect from North Korea. I guarantee you, you get the run. Matter of fact, the term defect. Y'all notice these folks never defect. They never defect because first off, they'll never be accepted on the other side of the fence. They always want to run from blackness, but can never get away from it. They'll sit there and do every single thing they can to tear down another black person. But yet they always want to sit underneath us, come to our committees, come to our events. That doesn't happen. If somebody says something against North Korea, they get the first motherfucking ticket out. If somebody ever goes against the cartels and all that shit, they get the first motherfucking ticket out. What happens if somebody were to sell out the United States of America? What if somebody was to say, I don't like America, I'm gonna go work with America's enemy? What happens when the motherfuckers say they're gonna work for Russia? Okay, what happens? What happens when the motherfuckers say, we gonna go work in the Middle East against America? Your ass is getting the fuck out of Dodge. They're gonna run. But yet when it come to black folk, motherfuckers will sell us out and then come to our goddamn reparations rally. As a matter of fact, did y'all see all the motherfuckers who was at the reparations rally talking down or trying to run interference on reparations? Why are you even here? What would happen if somebody from the dominant society tried to come on over here and help us out? How would they get treated when they come back home? What would happen if somebody left the cartel and said, we're gonna go help black folks out? What would happen to them when they go back home? What would happen if somebody left the Ukraine and said, you know what, I'm gonna leave Ukraine tonight and I'm gonna go help those foundational black Americans get reparations? What would happen to them when they get back home? How serious is their code enforced? Is their code enforced by making excuses? Is their code enforced by giving people passes? Is their code enforced by saying, well, just wait for them to wake up? Or is their code enforced with punishment? Let me tell you something. They ever try to come help us, the punishment is going to be severe. And that's the difference. We got to have a severe set of punishment, and I'm all for it. That's the way you get things done. I've always said that. We have the only folks who stick around and want to be at the table. This is why we can't let motherfuckers have a seat at the table. This is why all that, a voice, representation matters. Fuck that. Who are you representing? Are you representing real certified foundational black American freedmen? Or are you pretending to represent certified black American freedmen so you can run interference, you can derail us, you can disrupt us all from the inside? That's what it's all about, family. This is why Stephen A. Smith will sit there on ESPN, act like he's down with the brothers, and every single thing he says about black people is wrong. That's why Charles Barkley will sit there and do NBA shows and say everything bad about black folks. That's why Shaquille O'Neal will sit there at an NBA table and talk all these things about black people and tear us down. That's why Barack Obama will say he's the first black president, but yet he will go to all these goddamn committees, all these summits, give all these speeches, and he be tearing down other black folks. Every other community, once you display OCB, off-code behavior, you are immediately outcasted, you are immediately shunned, and your voice means shit. When it comes to us, a motherfucker will have a whole career of talking down on black people and still say that he's a black person. Still feels that his voice is just as resonant as anybody who matters. Trust me, Stephen A. Smith thinks that his voice is more valuable than Tariq Nasheed's. Charles Barkley thinks his voice is more valuable than Jason Black's. Shaquille O'Neal thinks his voice is more powerful than Dr. Claude Anderson. This is why we got to run these motherfuckers off the block once and for all. Family, y'all don't even see me right now. I got my hand up. I put one in the air. Once and for all, this has to be the era of getting rid of coons. This is the get rid of coons era right now. We starting this shit line in the goddamn sand. This is what it is. We're not going to go down that lane no more. I sit here and talk about how we've done so many things in the last 5 years, more than they've done in the last 50. And this is the era that's got the dustpan, the mop, and the broom. And we've been cleaning house. We've been fixing a lot of mistakes from the past. Now it's time we get serious about these motherfucking sellouts. It's time we get very, very serious about these decoys. It's time we get very motherfucking serious about these tap dancing sambos. All right. Nobody wants to talk about reparations. This generation picked that up and now we running with it. Nobody wants to talk about a black agenda. This generation picked it up. Now we running with it. Tangibles, we picked it up, running with it. Now, this will be our final call. This will be our life-lasting legacy. Is that we are going to be the generation that put in a real system and a code of conduct that was genuinely, sincerely, truly enforced without a shadow of a doubt, and we eradicated certified black American freedmen from all the coons. And when we talk about punishing them, oh man, we got so many ways we can do it. We're not just gonna sit here and talk about punishing coons and off-code people and sambos and not actually present something in a way to do it. No, the way you punish anybody who's off code, you find out all the little tactics that they use. You find out all the little mission statements. Y'all know when Zaddy gives them some type of orders, you find out what they are and then you do the opposite. Once a coon does not work for the dominant society and they tricks don't go nowhere, they are in full trouble. First thing you got to understand with punishing a coon is understand that their job is to harm us. And if they cannot harm us, then they get harmed. We can easily turn the table, flip everything on them ASAP. And it's easy to do. They try to get you to vote for the Democratic Party. Don't vote for the Democratic Party. Now you punish the coon. They try to get us to not be independent. Be independent. Now you've punished the coon. They try to get us to not stand by each other, to not love each other. Well, stand by each other and love each other. Now you've punished the coon. It's easy. It's easy work, and we can all do it. That's why every single time that we get together, who gets mad the most? The coons. Find out what the coons try to do to stop us and then do it. Find out what makes them mad and then do it. And find out what their orders are and do the opposite. And a coon will be out of business tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow afternoon. When we say that supremacy uses their tools and then they break them, guess what else? If those tools are rendered useless, then they get broke from the jump. The thing that will break a tool, coon, quicker than anything is if they can never do the job in the first place. That's what it is. They have no power. They ain't got nothing going for them. You talking about somebody who would still be picking cotton had the dominant society told them not to. You're talking about people who've never left the plantation mentally, physically, spiritually. You're talking about people who do not love themselves, ain't got no pride, ain't got no warrior class in them. Ain't nobody worried about them. It's a matter of us handling them before they try to come at us with the bullshit. So we can sit here right now on the Black Alpha Network, salute to the family, and we can examine 101 ways to end cooning. I think I'm gonna do a Twitter space. Yeah, I think that shit gonna be called 101 Ways to End Coonery. And I'm gonna have everybody call in and give their way of ending cooning. And we'll get to it. We gotta come up with a real genuine plan on how to do it. Everybody's got an idea, everybody understands, but let's put it all on the line. Let's break it down. It doesn't matter. The more means that we come up with, the better we're gonna be. See, the problem is when black folks didn't have think tanks, when they didn't ponder, when they didn't come up with new ideas. Or if you came up with new ideas and you didn't share it with anybody. Let's share 100 notes. If we all come up with different ways to end cooning, trust me, at least 20 of them motherfuckers is gonna stick, and that's all we need. Fuck around and be 50 to 100 that gonna stick, then cooning gonna be really out of business. I'm telling you, we can put an out of business sign on every single goddamn coon on earth if we do it the right way. If we do it the right way, we stay smart, we'll get them all the way out of here. So when they come around and they say, vote for the Democrats and you don't, look, I mean, shit, the prime example, we have all types of evidence to show you. Look around. Anytime somebody's ever tried to trick us into vote for the Democrats and we don't, they get their tool broken. They get fired. They get rendered from CNN to a small ass YouTube channel that gets no views. We got the power in our hands. Any house slave that tried to get all the field slaves to pick cotton and instead they revolted, that house slave got his tools broken. Anytime a coon cannot do his job, he gets that tool broken. And we have the power to make sure he gets broken just by not letting him do his job. And that is trying to con us. So basically, if we don't allow ourselves to get conned, then his ass is going to go to the coon unemployment office. That's what it is. He'll see Tiffany Cross there. I heard that's where she's hanging out nowadays. Her and OJ, they hanging out all the time. Y'all want to know if this shit is real and effective? Look at every single time one of these tap dancers just disappears. When you see a tap dancer that's on TV all the time, talking crazy, reckless shit about the black community, and then all of a sudden they're gone, that's because they failed at cooning. You gotta understand, a coon is a failure anyway. They woke up failing, they go about their day failing, they go to sleep failing, and then they wake up and they fail the next day. Hell, a coon fails at failing in life. So you know that's a sorry ass person, but that's exactly who they are. So understand, anytime you see one of these motherfuckers and they all of a sudden disappear, they go MIA, you can't find them no more, that's just somebody who got their tool broken. The evidence is everywhere you look, family. So step number 1 in 101 ways to break a coon, coming soon, y'all. Step number 1 is find out what works for them and then stop it from happening. I'm gonna give you one prime example. Oh man, we got some receipts today, family. Spoilers, Black Alpha spoilers. Let's put it down. The number one thing that a sellout has to use to try to stop the black community is they try to use their black skin for infiltration. The decoy. Yes, the decoy is always present. You know the people who come around and say, I'm black just like you. I deserve to come to the reparation rally. I'm black. Y'all need to let me in. We all black, brother. Y'all know the we all black, brother. Let me tell you something. Anybody who's ever said we're all black, in their mind, they're W. All right? They only have to say that so they can get some access to a place amongst certifieds so they can try to infiltrate us. Think about it, family. How many times in your fucking life have you ever told somebody we all black? What's understood don't need to be discussed. What's understood don't need to be talked about. What's understood don't need to be broke down. We know we all black. So what the fuck I gotta say that for? That's like saying we all human. No shit. So when somebody has to use that term, we're all black, they're a decoy. Anytime someone has to say, as a black person, they're a decoy. A sellout only likes to reference their blackness when they can bring other black people down. Let me say that again, 2 times. A sellout, counterfeit, Sambo only likes to reference their blackness when they can use it to bring other black people down. Other than that, they're not concerned with their own blackness, they hate their own blackness, and they wish they were not black. So this is how sleazy they are. The fact is that they hate being black, but they only love it when they can infiltrate real black people. So identifying that, they use their black skin as a way to get in. And y'all know I've always said this right here on the Black Alpha Network, is that they use their black skin like a fake ID. Flat blackness is like a fake ID. It provides them access to foundational black American affairs, foundational black American think tanks, to where usually they wouldn't be allowed in. And then they flash that fake ID, their skin tone, and then they walk right in. It's like being an undercover agent. The skin tone is like being an undercover agent. As a matter of fact, half the undercover agents that were out there bringing down the civil rights era, what was the main thing that got them in the door? Their skin color. So flat blackness has always been used against us. Everybody who tried to sit in on our reparations panels, what did? They used their skin color. All of those tethers who are anti-foundational black American, what's the first thing they try to use against us so they can get in on our reparations? Their skin color. So, 101 ways to break a coon. Once we've identified that they use their skin color as a fake ID to gain access, to infiltrate, to bring us down from the inside, we do something that is very, very simple. It costs nothing, pay me no mind. You simply tell a motherfucker who moves like that, you ain't black. Simple as that. You ain't black. When you tell somebody you ain't black, watch the way they respond. Oh yeah. First thing you do is you tell one of these Sambos you ain't black, and watch the way they fucking act. They'll start to spaz out. They'll get mad. They'll be like, wait a minute, I'm a black man. Don't you say that about me. They'll get mad. Now y'all know goddamn well, if somebody say that shit to us, respect it or check it. You will never run that game on us because we already know we certified. We are the culture. So we good. If you say you ain't black to a coon, oh, they get upset. Because now they understand they've been compromised. The number one thing that they have that works in their favor, their skin tone, fake ID, flat blackness, infiltration, now that's gone. And when you tell them they ain't black, it gets stripped away. I've seen it, you've seen it, we've all seen it. As a matter of fact, family, since we got receipts and spoilers here today on the Black Alpha Network, subscribe to the channel, y'all, appreciate it. Since we got receipts and spoilers, do y'all remember when the football player Terrell Owens was on First Take ESPN with Stephen A. Smith, and he told Stephen A. Smith that his W co-host Max Kellerman was more black than he was? Do y'all remember how mad Stephen A. Smith got? Stephen A. Smith got pissed. Now, Stephen A. Smith, don't get mad about supremacy. Don't get mad about anti-blackness. Don't get mad about George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery. He never exuded any emotion when it comes to them. He only exudes emotion when it comes to defending Jerry Jones and when someone says he ain't black. So if we ever needed a prime example of what I'm speaking about how to strip a coon's power by taking their black card away from them, because that's what it used to be. Remember, it used to be, I'm taking your black card. Only difference is it ain't a motherfucking joke. We telling them, your black card is coming home with me. You ain't black, you blank. You got black people, you got blank people, and they blank. Once you tell them that, now they don't know what to do, and then they get pissed off. Stephen A. Smith has had a vendetta against Terrell Owens ever since, because Stephen A. Smith got laughed at. They don't like it. Let me say this. They don't like it for a lot of reasons. One, you take away the only infiltration that they had, skin color. Two, you take away the mission statement that Zaddy sent him in for, because mind you, Zaddy would love to do that himself. But Zaddy understands that if he shows up, we're going to see him at the door. So he wants to go get somebody who looks like us, someone he can send in. And three, they hate it because we laugh at their ass. Oh man, you tell a coon that he ain't black and he starts spazzing out and flipping out, we laugh at them so motherfucking hard they never recover. They get roasted. Stephen A. Smith got embarrassed by Terrell Owens, and then Terrell Owens was laughing the whole goddamn time. Oh, and by the way, salute to Terrell Owens, because I just seen him knock some guy out. I guess that was messing with him, and he put that guy down ASAP. So salute to T.O. And as a matter of fact, T.O. has been on Twitter dragging Stephen A. Smith and actually retweeting the episode of ESPN when he told his ass that the W was more black than him. And Stephen A. Smith is still pissed off about it. Matter of fact, shit, we got it right here. Watch how mad Stephen A. Smith get.
I'm in the streets. Max almost seems blacker than you, Stephen A. Max almost seems blacker than you, Stephen A. Max almost seems blacker than you, Stephen A. with what he's coming, with his commentary.
With all due respect, my brother.
I'm just saying, dog.
Wait a minute. Wait to finish.
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna check you right now. You don't cross the line.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, hey, that shit had him so goddamn mad. He been embarrassed about that shit for about half a decade. And you see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm saying, fam? You see that he'll walk around all day long throwing us under the bus, being anti the culture, anti the lineage, anti the heritage, defending every supremacist he can find, trying to pick fights and little goddamn conflicts with every black man, every black woman present. But the second you say that he ain't black, he gets upset. That's what I'm talking about. If you ever want to know if we got power on them, you see it right then and there. And he ain't got nothing to work for him because his infiltration is gone, his decoy is gone, his flat blackness done packed up and left, and now he's just a coon on an island. And then you laugh at him. So he's left broke, battered, and roasted. Exactly where he deserves to be. And as a matter of fact, fam, it don't stop there. Y'all remember this dude? His name was like Paris something. He was like some skinny little black dude, and he used to be on CNN talking all types of coonery shit. Like real squeaky voice and shit. Looked like he ain't sniffed a goddamn woman in his life. Talk like, walk like a W. You could tell he worshipped trying to be a kin. That guy was so far removed from his blackness, it was pathetic. Well, one time he was on CNN doing his usual tap dance, and another brother on there was like, "Are you black?" Once again, I told you, when you tell them they ain't black, that is the number one thing that you could do that breaks them. You want to know how? Follow that every single time and it works. So he's on there doing his usual tap dance, saying all types of reckless shit about the black community. Y'all know the same ass game they always run. Well, like I said, another brother was on there and he said, "Shit, are you black?" and questioned his blackness. Oh man, and that motherfucker turned into a CWA. Y'all know what a CWA is. Oh yeah, a coon with an attitude. And usually you see a CWA after somebody told them they weren't black. Y'all know what it's like when we tell tethers they're non-FBA and they get mad? This is what happens when you tell them they ain't black. They get pissed and he just starts spazzing. His voice was squeaking and shit. He understands the same thing Stephen A. Smith understands. Their way to W acceptance is by acting black. If they have to act black so they can infiltrate our community and undercut us, then they will act black. The only thing they like about acting black is that it gives them the opportunity to get W acceptance. Hey, I'm telling y'all, fam, this shit is real. Hey, y'all gotta listen to this. This shit funny as hell. Listen.
Well, Keith, I don't need you to try to pull my black card. I am well aware of my blackness and don't need you to try to classify me as being one. I understand what racism is. Keith, don't go there. Do not go there. I know what it means to be a black man in this country. I know, and I experience racism on a regular basis by being a Trump supporter and by being a proud American who happens to be a Republican. I get racist comments.
So that's the racism you experience by being a Trump
I get
supporter?
I get racist comments about my family, about my mother, about my girlfriend, about my character every single day from mostly coming from black people, Keith. If you really want to get down to it, my family's from Georgia. Keith, let me finish. My family's from Georgia. We have members of our family that went missing because of the KKK taking them up. So don't come to me and tell me about what it means to be a black person in this country. I fought every day in the George W. Bush White House. Yes, Keith, let me finish.
Calm down.
No, I won't calm down because I will not be attacked by you about my blackness because I happen to be a Republican and I listen to our president.
Paris, you've really gone off the rails here.
You have no ground and no respect to attack somebody.
He mad.
Obviously very sensitive and defensive about this issue, Paris, because you have your own issues and demons to resolve.
Get your guest under control.
I told y'all it worked.
Please.
I told y'all listen to him.
Not come on the show.
He hurt.
Oh, you disrespect African Americans every day when you come on the show.
Hang on.
Hey, he was mad as fuck. You see what happens when you tell him you ain't black? That dude don't ever want to be black in his life. As soon as you tell him, he starts spazzing out. He was pissed. That little guy was big mad. He was like, no, stop it. Let me finish. Can I talk? He was pissed off. Good. That's exactly where they need to be. What I told you. Broken, battered, roasted. That's how you deal with him. God damn, he was mad, wasn't he? He was like, don't you question my black card because I have a W girlfriend and I eat my food with no seasoning. That's what Zaddy does. Damn it. Told y'all they get mad. Well, all right, let's get it then, family. And it starts right here. And we've been on that game, and right here on the Black Alpha Network, you know this is the time and this is the place, and we got the energy to do so, family. Everybody in the chat, all my listeners, all my riders, y'all know if there's anybody that's going to put this on the line, if there's anybody who's going to take this shit serious and get this job done, anybody who's going to really get rid of the Sambos, oh, y'all know it's Certified Black Society. Y'all know why we're the ones for the job. Y'all know why we're so good at it. Y'all know why, if there's anybody out there that could do this shit, it's us. It's because we have no fucks given. We're not worried about your feelings, how you feels. Did we upset you? Did we hurt you? We don't give a fuck about any of that. Fuck you. If you ain't certified, you ain't on code, your feelings don't matter. Who gives a shit? You getting your ass regulated. I don't give a fuck about a coon's feelings. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna care about a lot of things, but I do not give a damn about a coon's feelings. If a coon's feelings gets hurt for getting called a coon, well, they gonna be some hurt feelings having motherfuckers. Bottom line. And that's where it starts. And once you adopt that type of mentality, which we all got, then it's on. Once you adopt that type of thought process, which we all have, then it's on. Once you adopt that type of action, which we all have and we all put on full display, all of us, every single one of y'all, then it is on and popping. And right now, family, is on and popping. Because there's two types of black folks. There's the black person who's like, man, well, you know, things ain't that bad now. When we need to wake up, there was a time when you weren't woke, so we can't just cast away everybody. We need to let them talk. Let everybody get a voice. We all need to stand together. That's that type of black person. That's the old shit, okay? That's the, I hate to say it, y'all. God damn it. Y'all gonna laugh, man, but I gotta do it. I gotta do it. Sorry, family. Y'all already know I'm having this shit. I can't get through one fucking episode without this shit pissing me off. Hey, what my man say? Don't mention Edmund Pettis Bridge around Black Alpha. Yes, do not. That's that Edmund Pettis Bridge energy. Damn it. Family, I promise y'all, I do not plan on bringing up Edmund Pettis Bridge. I promise. And shit just comes up. It just irks the shit out of me. God damn. Let me say, if you get your ass whooped and you brag about it for 60 fucking years, then it's got the right to piss me off for 100 years. So fuck Edmund Pettis Bridge. Fuck them all. Moving on to my point. You got two types of black people. You got the black folks who say, thanks for whooping my ass, and we need to wait for everybody to come around, and let's all stand together, let everybody have a seat at the table, everybody deserves a voice. And then you got the other black person, which is more like you and I, which is fuck everybody gets a seat at the table, fuck everybody has a voice. Either your ass is on code or you're not. And if you are off code, then you getting your ass ran off the block by any means necessary, no compromise, no fucks given. That's what it is. We got to get to the point where we have two options. See, when you got 4, 5, 6, 12, 32 and a half, 15 in the third, 53rd in the sixth, then everybody can come on in. Then everybody can do what they want. We've already broke this down 100 times right here on the Black Alpha Network that the thing that plagued our community the most was an open door policy. The open door policy has been to the detriment of foundational black Americans longer than anything. Whenever you have an open door policy, you don't have a code. If everybody can have a seat at the table, if everybody's got to grab the microphone, then you ain't got no fucking code. Because I guarantee you, 90% of the motherfuckers who gonna want to have a seat at the table ain't gonna be talking about empowerment. They're gonna be talking about empowering Massa. They're gonna be talking about empowering Zaddy. They're gonna talk about loving Master or protecting Zaddy, but they ain't gonna be talking about no reparations. They ain't gonna be talking about no motherfucking tangibles. They ain't gonna be talking about anything that's gonna uplift us. They're only gonna be talking about things that uplift Master because that's who they love. So understand, if you got that open door policy, it is going to be a problem. If you have 100 different means, there's going to be a problem. We got to have two ways of dealing with these folks. Either they're on code or off code, they on the block or getting kicked off the fucking block. That's it. And you gotta love it, you got to enjoy it, you got to take pride in that shit. See, a lot of black folks don't take pride in regulating motherfuckers. We do. If I see somebody running around here talking down on my women, I take pride in checking his ass. If I see one of these swirlers, zaddy chasers, zaddy tap dancing ass females, I take pride in regulating their ass. If I see a supremacist, if I see a we needs to do better, if I see an Edmund Pettis Bridge, I take pride in regulating their ass. It is my job. It's all of our job. We got to take ownership over that shit. You feel me? Regulating's a tough job, but somebody got to do it. And we got to be the ones to do it. Hey, all is fair. You see in other communities, oh, they love that shit. They love that shit. Go on down to Mexico. Talk down on the cartels and see if those cartel members don't take pride in doing way worse than regulating. They're going to do a lot of extra shit. But guess what? They're going to take pride when they do it. They're going to take damn well pride when they do it. Like I said earlier, go over to North Korea. Start talking shit about Kim Jong-un, whatever the fuck. Go on over there and start talking about them. Trust me, they will take pride in handling you. Go over to the community that was just coming after our brother Kyrie and start talking about some of them and see if they don't take pride in getting you up out the paint. We got to start taking pride in regulating, family. We got to start taking pride in G-checking. We got to start taking pride in gatekeeping. And the number one thing for regulating is all the emotions are at the door. This is not personal. This is only business. You feel me? This is only business. And as I say, if my business is personal, then that's a personal problem to you. We don't give a fuck about none of that shit. No, we can't let people come in and out. We can't. We just can't sustain that no more. We can't sustain that. Every time we ever get anything going, somebody gonna undercut it. Trust me, there is no loss for coons out there. All right, there are coons everywhere. They're getting paid. All right, they're getting butter biscuits with sprinkles on them. They give motherfuckers butter biscuits with sprinkles. These motherfuckers was willing to sell out the whole community for a plain butter biscuit. What you think they gonna do for a butter biscuit with some frosting? They put some frosting on that motherfucker. They gonna sell out the whole goddamn nation. That's what it is. There's always going to be butter biscuits. There's always going to be frosting. There's always going to be the little goddamn sprinkles with all the colors on top. And therefore, there's always going to be coons willing to come out and undercut our reparations, undercut our tangibles, and undercut our black empowerment. So therefore, we are left with two options. Deal with all the butter biscuits, all the frosting, all the coons, all the coon walking, all the tap dancing, or get real serious about ending the cooning forever. That's it. Enforcing the system. Now, mind you, we have a code. We just got to enforce it. We got all the means of doing this now. This ain't some shit where, man, we ain't never going to be able to do it. They always going to coon. Yeah, they going to always coon, but they ain't always going to be effective. It's about stopping how effective these coons are. When you got coons that can come out and slander a brother or sister, make them lose their job, their endorsements, their opportunities, when they can stifle us, mind you, you had coons back in the day that were stifling slave revolts. Yes, you had slave revolts that would have freed black folks 100 years prior to when we were actually freed. But guess what? All of the coons prevented that from happening. They were being very effective. You had black folks back in the day that were trying to get tangibles, that were trying to get reparations, and guess what? You had coons that came out and they threw them under the bus, and they were very effective. So it's not a matter of coons not existing. It's a matter of coons not being effective. And we have the power to make that happen. The number one way that you combat supremacy is with black empowerment. And the number one way you stop coons from being effective is by code enforcing. Follow those two things right there and you're going to always be good. And we're going to always be good because we're going to follow those things. So back to the original point, family. Line in the sand, all right? All the we needs to do better. We need to all let everybody talk versus the on code 24/7 by any means necessary. No feelings, all right? If you see somebody doing something slightly off code, G-check them. Trust me. And here's the thing. These folks is soft. They soft. We're not dealing with anybody with a backbone, all right? I always say, I'm on record saying they're spineless. These are spineless people. We're not up against a coon that is powerful. Coons by nature are weak. Coons by nature are docile. They don't even love themselves. How a motherfucker who don't even love themselves going to be strong and come against B1? They can't. They not strong like that. They ain't got it in them. They ain't got a lick of strength in them the same way they ain't got a lick of self-pride in them. We're not dealing with some fucking monster that can't be defeated. We can conquer these people off rip, like I said, by following the code and by being no compromise. Quit trying to work with them. See, we want to negotiate with them. Queen Alpha, salute to Queen Alpha. She said this years ago to me. She said, we're the only community that wants to work around the coons. You feel me? We want to step around them. We want to avoid them. We see coons coming. We're saying, how can we work on this side so they don't affect us? Man, fuck that. We're going to bull right through them. That's the mentality you have to have. Once again, it's the same mentality. They do not try to work around the sellouts. They do not try to work around the off code. They go right through them. Matter of fact, y'all remember Charlottesville? Y'all remember Charlottesville? When they was out there with the tiki torches and all that shit? Remember that? Y'all remember that girl who was out there protesting? What that guy do? He literally went right through her. It is what it is. He got in his car, he hit the damn pedal and vroom. That's what they were doing. You know why he did that? Because he viewed her as off code. Y'all remember all the people that used to try to help the black folks in the civil rights era? Did they try to work around them W's? Did they try to work on the other side of them? Or did they just go and get them? You feel what I'm saying? That's what it is. Going back to all those other places I just named. Nobody's trying to work around their sellouts other than us. We're the only ones either trying to let everybody come to the table, trying to let everybody speak, or we're saying, watch what you're saying. There was a brother, he had came out years ago, and he had made a statement. He said, y'all be careful, the coons is out there trying to stop us. And I was like, man, what you mean careful? Ain't no goddamn careful. Hell to the nah. I ain't being careful of no coon. That right there is granting them power they don't have. Once again, you're dealing with somebody who's spineless. They need to be careful of us. You feel me? Stephen A. Smith is afraid of certified black society. Shaquille O'Neal is afraid of certified black society. Roland Martin is afraid. The very reason is because we can have all the motherfuckers in the unemployment office. Why you think Roland Martin's always mad and upset? Why you think Joy Reid is always mad and upset? Why you think Stephen A. Smith, they call him Screaming A. Smith? Why you think? Because they understand that the black grassroots can get rid of them like that. Easy work. Roland Martin went from being on CNN to having a fucking youth stream that don't get no type of views. You feel me? The new black media whoops him down the block when it comes to views. Straight up and down. This is a guy that used to be on CNN. He's got all these political Democratic connections, all these political Democratic affiliations, and the new black media beats him every fucking week in views and numbers. He knows what it is. He understands that. They all understand that when they cannot fool us, they cannot hustle us, they cannot scheme against us, they cannot plot against us, they cannot scam us, they will get that call to Zaddy's principal's office. Y'all know what Zaddy's principal's office is. I talk about it all the time. Matter of fact, as we talk about it today, you have the Zaddy protectors. They got to go to Zaddy's principal's office and they have to make excuses why they cannot control black people. Their job is to control us. When they cannot control us, they get that goddamn pink slip. Y'all seen what happened to Tiffany Cross? Tiffany Cross was out here all day long trying to talk down on black men. Now all of a sudden, by the way, Tiffany Cross is out here trying to talk about black unity and trying to basically tell the black grassroots, I was wrong. I know I was on some Democrat shit and I was trying to undercut y'all, but please help me. That's what they always do. Name me a coon that ain't tucked their tail between their legs and came back trying to get us to help them. They always do it. Help me, please. Help me, please. Tiffany Cross has got kicked out the community so bad, she's showing up with W men now. Y'all seen the picture? He like, this my babe. Or she said it, somebody fucking said it. But that's how lost she is. She's in a sunken place. I think she's always been there, but guess what? She's gonna stay there because the black grassroots is keeping it going. They don't have the power. We have the power. You dig? That's what it is. And as long as we relinquish we gotta work around them and be careful of them and everybody gets to talk, once we get rid of that and we put together a stern policy of punishment for going off code, because that's what it's all about. It's about having a policy of punishment for those who violate the code. Very real. Anybody who goes off code, I don't give a fuck who you are. If you go off code, you will be punished by any means necessary. Nobody sits there and looks at it and says, well, let me see. Okay, you went off code here, over here too. Well, that was wrong. You violated there. Okay, we'll give you 3 more chances. Don't no other fucking community do that. They say, what? You was out there marching with Martin Luther King and all them black folks? Your ass getting found in the trash can. What? Wait, you trying to assist black folks in getting reparations? You getting your job took. We taking your house from you too. And while you're at it, give us your car. We're going to repossess that motherfucker. Oh, they got all types of systems in play. All types of systems. They will punish you the same way that they'll put an allegation on a black celebrity and then they'll punish them. That's the same exact way that they punish folks from their community who try to assist us. Assisting a black person in the system of supremacy is the #1 flaw. You cannot do that or your ass will pay for it. Pay. And we've all seen throughout history, paying can come with money. Pain can come with repossession. Pain can come with embarrassment. Pain can come with slander, or pain can come with your life. Charlottesville. You feel me? This is what it's all about, family. This is what it's all about. And we have to get these type of systems in play for people who openly violate the community, because we got a lot of motherfuckers who just run around and just do this shit freely. They'll say, well, I guess I ain't black then. Think about that. Think about that. This system has allowed folks to be so coonified that they will openly tell you, well, I'm just going to do it anyway. How many times y'all see a black person say, I'm not just going to stick up for a black person just because they black? Have y'all ever seen a W say that? Have y'all ever seen a W get on TV and say, I'm not going to like you just because you a W? Hell nah. They got a whole system based on supporting each other just because they're a W. I'm a W and I say so. You feel me? We'll have black folks, Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp. I seen both of them guys say this in the last month. They'll say, I ain't just going to stick up for you just because you black. I ain't going to do that shit. You see what I'm talking about? Because they feel comfortable throwing black folks under the bus because they don't support the code. If you don't support the code, then you ain't black. That's what we got to understand. That's what we got to know. That's what we got to utilize. So when it comes down to breaking them, understand, family, the power lies in our hands. Our hands all day long. You've been seeing it. Like I said, we only talk things that we can put receipts on the goddamn table. Receipts are on the goddamn table. Look at what we've been doing. Look at all the Democratic shields. They dropping like flies. They disappearing every weekend. It's because they're going to Zaddy's principal's office and they're being held accountable on why they cannot control us. That is exactly the point that we were making. The reason why they never defect, the reason why they never leave is because a black sellout's job is to maintain a presence in the community so they can hurdle us and cattle us up. You feel what I'm talking about? When we were talking about people defect from all these other places, you go talk about the cartels, you go talk about North Korea, and then you run and you leave. The reason why black folks don't do that, one is because they'll never truly be accepted on the other side of the fence. The dominant society will never accept them. But the main reason is that their job is to stay near us so they can cattle us up. That's what Malcolm X was talking about. Anytime a brother or sister in slavery would talk what we're talking. Anytime a brother or sister in the civil rights era would talk what we're talking. Anytime right now in the reparations era where a brother or sister would start talking about empowerment, they send in one of them coons so they can undo what we just said. That's the house versus the field. And it's still playing out today. Only difference is we G-checking. Family, didn't I say that they ain't nothing but some CWAs, some coons with an attitude? Stephen A. Smith is the lead coon with an attitude. And didn't I say that they really be getting mad? And didn't I say that they all keep a real close, watchful eye on all of the new black media, all of the black grassroots? Yes, they do. They all know that they got little YouTube accounts, Twitter accounts, Facebook, TikTok, and they be logged in watching every single thing we do. And the reason why they do that, family, is because what I said, we have the power to put them in the coon unemployment line. Yes, we'll send them straight to the coon unemployment office. We'll give them that goddamn coon pink slip, and then their asses got to disappear. Y'all know every other fucking weekend, rolling beep, 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 Martin comes out and he's always saying some shit. Y'all B1s and FBAs, and he's always upset. He wouldn't be mad if we didn't have the power to take his ass from CNN all the way down to a cheap, raggedy ass YouTube channel. All right? My little niece got a better YouTube channel than him. All right? She got more followers and subscribers. He ain't moving shit. Same thing is going on with Stephen A. Smith. Mr. I wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight. Mr. My forehead was 2 hours early and my hairline was 4 days late. Okay, this motherfucker showed up. Yes, I said that, family. Yes, forehead early, goddamn hairline way the fuck back. I don't even know if it's coming because that motherfucker can't even be seen. But anyway, as we speak, this motherfucker's trying to get his forehead and his hairline together. And he's upset at the new black media and the black grassroots naming podcasts. Oh yeah, did y'all see him come out? And he started talking that shit saying, I'm gonna say something. I got something to say to black people. Didn't I say they think they black? Didn't I say that they think that they're black and they put on a black jacket and a black suit whenever it comes down to trying to disrupt us? Any other time, he's always bootlicking the dominant society. He's butter biscuit chasing and he's zaddy tap dancing for everybody other than black people. But then they want to put on a black jacket when it comes down to talking to us. So he went on ESPN upset, mad as hell. Same way he got upset when T.O. said that he wasn't really a black dude and Max Kellerman was more black than he was. The same thing, I told y'all that they get mad when we call them out. Family, you know on the Black Alpha Network we got receipts. Showed them. Y'all know that we drop spoilers. Showed them. I sat here and said that they get mad whenever you tell them they ain't black. And this very goddamn week, Stephen A. Smith is getting mad because people telling him he ain't black. So he got upset. He said he got a podcast. He was talking about basically the new black media. He probably subscribed to a little fucking Twitter account and was following us and hearing the shit we say about him. Got upset and did that shit. Well, Cuba Gooding Jr., he be punching at the goddamn air and shit. Saying, I'd have hit him and I would have did this. You wouldn't have did the motherfucking thing. But sit your ass down and comb the rest of the hair that's trying to hang on to your fucking head. All right? That's all you can do, homeboy, because you ain't gonna do a goddamn thing to certify black society. Now, this dude got on his little whatever and started talking about us, saying he's gonna do something, saying he got a show that he's gonna talk about. Basically nothing real serious. But at the end of the day, you see this motherfucker fuming mad, and he's mad because of us.
On a serious note, you know, last week I brought up the stuff about Jerry Jones. And Jerry Jones being a 14-year-old or 15-year-old, depending on which report you believe, and how he was in North Little Rock High School. The picture. Yeah, the picture, right? And there have been a lot of people that have been misconstruing my message, talking about I'm coming to Jerry Jones' defense. What was he doing there, Stephen A? What I said was, it's a still picture of a 14-year-old from 66 years ago. I stand by what I said last week, but I only bring up that subject to say this. This ain't the necessary platform to go where I'm going to go in terms of some black folks in our community talking smack. And so there's certain things that I want to address. You know what? People run their mouths and they talk a lot of stuff with their podcasts and all of this other stuff. Yeah, I got a television show, but I got a podcast too. And I'm going to address this on my Wednesday podcast. And all I'm going to say is it's black on black. And you know what? I don't even know what white folks need to be listening with the stuff that I'm going to say.
Have you ever heard something so non-threatening in your life? Have you ever heard something that literally made you laugh when someone is being so serious? You ever talk to a motherfucker and they serious as hell? They dead serious, but you laughing because it's taken as a joke? Well, goddamn it, I'm taking that shit as a joke. That was like watching the comedy special. For real, that was like watching some stand-up, comics on stage. Because we all know what he say he gonna do, he ain't gonna do it. And he's proving our point in the process. First off, before I go any further, let's say this. Stephen A. Smith wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight. He faker than Lee press-on nails and he's softer than carnival cotton candy. All right? He ain't gonna do a goddamn thing. That part. Second part is that when we sit here and say that he's got smoke for black folks, but he ain't got no smoke for the dominant society, where is all of that smoke for Jerry Jones? Where's it at? Didn't I say they get coon comfortable? Didn't I say that they get very, 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 very coon comfortable? We sit here and say that he rides hard for Massa, but he's got problems with other black people. And then to prove his point, he rides harder for Massa and gets mad at black people. That's the shit we talking about. Family, we said all you gotta do is tell the truth and you can sit back watching these motherfuckers will do every single thing that you say. And that's exactly what Screaming A. Smith did. This guy right here is everything we talk about. He is the epitome of Massa's little pet. He's a zaddy chaser, a zaddy protector, a zaddy tap dancer. Just put zaddy in front of it and you're gonna find Stephen A. Smith. The same way if you put KFC in front of something, you're gonna find Roland Martin. It's the same exact way. And they all a bunch of Sambos and they can't touch certified black society, not at all. So nah, we was laughing, literally, family. All of the new black media, all the black grassroots, black Twitter, everybody was laughing. They was putting up memes. I know I put up a meme personally about him. Y'all seen the picture where he's holding on to everybody? That shit right there, that did like 500 likes in an hour. You know, nobody's dealing with these guys. They are the laughing stock, and it upsets them that they think that they're going to have some type of muscle in the community that they do not have. You feel me? He better go get his weight up. He better go get his weight up. This ain't the old days where the boule can come around and talk down to us and they actually think they're going to move something. They all have to face the fact that they are irrelevant in the black community. They all have to face the fact that they have no power in the black community, and they all have to face the fact that they do not influence a goddamn thing. You want to know who got the weight, who got the power, and who got the influence? All of us. Y'all right now got more power than Roland Martin, than Broken Buck Car Sellers, than Van Nessa Jones, than Stephen A. Smith, than anybody they can go find, anybody they can put in their lap, any motherfucker they can go throw a little goddamn dog bone to. We got more power than all of them put together. That's what happens when you're fresh, when you're new, and you got the will of the people behind you, opposed to when you're old, outdated, and still cooning. See, that cooning shit, it'll go the same way cooning has always went. There is no retirement plan for it. You see a coon today, they be gone tomorrow. But real certified B1s, we live forever. So look at that, think about that, and watch how they prove our point. A motherfucker sit here right now and say, I'm not going too hard for Massa. And then he'll sit there and go hard for Massa. The bottom line in the core of all of this is that Stephen A. Smith is trying to fight other black people based on Jerry Jones, a W. That's what it is. We can get to the point, the brass tacks, the meat and potatoes. We can get to the core of the whole situation. He is trying to have smoke and confrontation and conflict with other black people over a W. That's the same thing that the house slave did, that Brother Malcolm X was talking about. That's the same thing the William O'Neills of the world did. That's the same thing that the Dahomey tribe was doing in Africa. Let's go team up with the colonizer. Let's be real cool with him, but let's have some issues with other black folks. There has been a long line of history of these folks who ain't got no issues with the colonizer who oppresses their people. They turn a blind eye to oppression. Oh yeah, oppression don't even pop up on their radar. The Sandra Blands don't pop up on their radar. The Breonna Taylors don't pop up on their radar. The Tamir Rice, the Jordan Davises don't pop up on their radar. I'll tell you what does though. If you start talking about the Queen of England, oh, they get mad. They be rolling up their sleeves. Hold on now. Don't you talk about that was a good woman now. Jerry Jones, they'll get mad. Wait a minute. The black community and me are gonna have to have a conversation. They'll get mad about that shit real quick, won't they? Joe Biden, don't y'all talk about Joe. That's Uncle Joe now. Everybody in the world know that's Jim Crow Joe. But they see him as Uncle Joe. That's what I talk about fantasy and reality. Facts don't mean nothing to a counterfeit. When you're dealing with a counterfeit, they live in such a world of delusion that is all they know. We live in a world of reality, therefore we don't accept that. That's why they cannot stand in our space, they cannot exist in our presence, and we let that be known loud and clear. That's why we have the power. That's why they're on fucking TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, following all of our accounts, sitting there drinking a goddamn bottle of Jack Daniels, depressed, drunk as fuck, and mad that certified black society is whooping they ass. And that's the moral of the story. So right now, basically what we're dealing with is the same thing that black folks have always dealt with. We're dealing with a bunch of Massa lovers, Massa's little pets, people that have no issues with the dominant society, but people who are always going to have another issue with another black person. I never sit there and see a black person going against the dominant society and interfere. If I see a black person going against the dominant society, I let them get it off. They see black folks going against the dominant society, and what they do? They go throw on that coon cape, they fly on in, and they say, leave Massa alone. Because this is really what it is. It's a leave Massa alone. They love Massa more than Massa loves himself. It's what Brother Malcolm was talking about. That's why we played the video in the very beginning. Brother Malcolm was talking about this in the 1960s, but he was referring to something that went on 100 years before he was alive. And it went on 100 years before that. And it will continue to go on until they come to the doorstep of the black grassroots right now. And this is why I say this is the era where we get rid of all the cooning, and this is the era of the 101 ways to break a coon, and we breaking them. We breaking them. Let me tell you, when you know you breaking somebody, let me tell you why. When a motherfucker gets on ESPN, all right, a sports network owned by Disney. Matter of fact, the biggest sports network in the world, ran by the biggest entertainment company in the world, and you talking about the black grassroots. As a matter of fact, ESPN is called the worldwide leader. Not the county-wide, not the statewide, not the town-wide, the worldwide. So this big worldwide leader, ESPN, ran by this conglomerate, Disney, and they still got time to address us. That motherfucker was talking about podcasts. I can only imagine who he's talking about. Is he talking about Tariq Nasheed, Jason Black, Professor Black Truth, Black Alpha Network? Talking about my brother Afro Elite, my brother Beatzilla, Torian Reigns, Kid Gravity, who? You name him. My brother Black Star, who you talking about? Because we all been giving you that work. But I guarantee you, he's a motherfucker watching what everybody says, and he took the time on ESPN by way of Disney to address us. Didn't I say FBA is changing the world? Didn't I say we are all residing over an era that they will look back on 100 years later and say that's when the game changed? That's when the empowerment took off? Didn't I say that? Family, if we got politicians sitting their ass up in Washington, D.C., on Capitol Hill, at the White House, at the Treasury, having to address foundational black Americans, that means we changing the game. If we got Disney, ESPN, ABC, NBC taking their time out to address foundational black Americans, that means we changing the game. They not talking about the tethers. They not talking about the diaspora. They not talking about the Black and Browns coalition. They not talking about the people of colors. They ain't talking about none of these other groups. They talking about us. So that lets you know that everything we saying done pulled up on their motherfucking doorstep. And you only pull up on the doorstep of trillion-dollar companies and the most powerful government in the world if you are regulating shit. And we are regulating shit. Look around you. Hey, spoiler alert. Foundational black Americans win. Everybody else bows the fuck down. Take that. Hey, he gonna say, W shouldn't even be listening. Motherfucker, that's who gave you the orders. Fuck you talking about. Hey, and he be the same one turning around talking about black on black's crime. And y'all see right there, he said, this black on black. You see what I'm talking about? He be the same one using black on black crime as a justification to talk down on us. But whenever he got an issue with a black person, he openly said it's black on black. You see what I'm talking about? This is what we dealing with when we dealing with these off-brand, off-code, coon, counterfeit motherfuckers. That's what we hear. This dude openly said he won't smoke with all black people. He got a problem with black folks. That's what he said. I don't like black people. I have a problem with black people on behalf of a W. That's where he stands. And tell you where we stand on the certified side. So Stephen A. Smith, you got a podcast and I got one too. It's called the Black AlphaCast and we put in that work. Come on down here, brother, and you catch it. Y'all know he don't want none of this. Y'all know, hey, this ain't the prim and proper nice hour right here. No. We give the smoke, but guess what? We give the smoke present or not present. But either way, you gonna feel it, and apparently you do. So salute to the certified. It's certified season. There's too much real B1 certified black American, foundational black American freeman energy in the place. We don't give a damn about nothing they say. All these suckers, Dr. Umar running around here, still tap dancing for Pan-Africanism or whatever, out of touch, out of line, going nowhere fast. Stephen A. Smith, you name them. Everybody, anybody at any time got a problem with foundational black Americans, gonna get G-checked on sight, off top, and off rip. It ain't the time nor the place to come at this lineage. Let me say that one more time. It is not the time or the place to come at this lineage, and it damn sure ain't the generation to come at this lineage. If you think you gonna come at us sideways and you gonna get a yes we can, or you gonna come at us sideways and you gonna get a turn the other cheek, or you go low, we go high, nah. You fuck with this lineage and you're gonna see why they call it certified. As a matter of fact, you can grab your telescope, your microscope, your microphone, get your podcast ready, turn that motherfucker sideways, press play, and you gonna fuck around and find out. Bet that. He was young. He's past all that. Let me tell you something, family. Let's put this to bed right goddamn now. You may retire from being a lawyer. You may retire from being a doctor. You may retire from being in the military. You may retire from working at Walmart. The one thing that you will never retire from is from being a supremacist, okay? There is no retirement for being anti-black. When somebody is anti-black, they are anti-black for life. I'm so tired of people trying to tell me that these supremacists have been rehabilitated, that these supremacists have been reformed. You can't be reformed from anti-blackness, all right? When you're anti-black now, you're anti-black for the rest of your life. And this is why they teach these kids at 4, 5 years old, and they already showing signs of supremacy. They start off by being BS. Yes, baby supremacists. That's what their whole community is. It's full of a bunch of BS. Baby supremacists. And these baby supremacists grow up to be kid supremacists, then teenage supremacists, then adult supremacists, and then elder supremacists, and then eventually they pass away and they pass the baton to the next generation of supremacists. That's how you maintain and you sustain something for 400, 500 years. Don't sit here and tell me in the system of supremacy that's been going on for 500 plus years, further than that if you want to go there, that this shit disappears when someone gets older, all right? What has been shown is that they carry supremacy with them from the cradle to the grave. All right, everybody knows that, everybody sees it, it's been documented, it's been verified. So don't come up in here trying to tell me that somebody has retired from being a supremacist. As a matter of fact, what we've seen is that people actually get worse as they get older. And think about this. This lets you know you're dealing with a bunch of lying ass people. How do you know they lying? We're gonna catch them in a lie right here. Let's catch them in one of a billion fucking lies, but let's call it out. Y'all notice you'll have one old person who will say something that's anti-black, and everybody will say, oh, that's just how it was in his time. Y'all remember that one? Y'all remember that's how he was in his time? That's how he grew up back then? That was always the common excuse they gave to some old ass supremacists whenever they were trying to let them off the hook. They used to always say, oh, forgive my grandma. She's just like that because that's how it was in her time. So right there, they're admitting that you maintain supremacy as you get older and it don't go away. See, grandma said that anti-black shit about those kids in her yard, about those kids on TV. It's because she grew up in her time and that's how it was. So they're admitting that grandma's old ass is still a supremacist. But when it comes to Jerry Jones, his supremacy only existed back in the day and his went away. You see what I'm talking about? 1 minute on the left hand is grandma still a supremacist because that's her time. And when it comes to Jerry Jones, who's old as hell, he's not a supremacist anymore because he grew out of it. One person kept it, one person grew out of it. Bullshit. They both supremacists. The same way how you have supremacy on the left and supremacy on the right, the same way you have supremacy red, supremacy blue, is the same way your ass has supremacy young and supremacy old. They don't go away, they just age. All the motherfucker is a supremacist with wrinkles. That's it. And then the other person is a supremacist with a bottle. Right? You got your BS, your baby supremacist, and then you got your OS, old supremacist. And either way, they both supremacists, and either way, they come fucking with certified black society, they gonna get their ass G-checked up, down, and around the goddamn block. That's how it is. One gets G-checked on a walker, one get their ass G-checked in a stroller. All right, grandma get her ass G-checked in a nursing home, baby get his ass G-checked in preschool. It don't matter. When it comes to regulating certified foundational black American society and G-checking anti-black racism, it knows no age. So your ass can be anti-black from the day you took your first steps to the day your old ass can't walk no more. You both gonna get your ass G-checked on this side. I mean, look at the pass that they gave Carolyn Bryant. The lady who got our brother Emmett Till harmed, right? They gave her a pass. Oh, she's old now. She's old, she couldn't help it. That's what happened in her time. You see? Now when it comes to Jerry Jones, oh no, that was a long time ago. That was in 1957 and he was only 14 years old. Let me tell you something about 1957 and being 14 years old. That ain't like nowadays, all right? When a motherfucker was 14 years old back then, they had goddamn 2 kids, worked a motherfucking job, smoked fucking cigarettes, and worked at the coal mine all day. Don't come up in here with that bullshit. Please. And then on top of that, Tamir Rice was 12 years old. Nobody used age. Emmett Till was 14 years old, same as Jerry Jones. Didn't nobody use age. George Stinney Jr. was 14 years old. Didn't nobody say nothing about his age when they were executing him. And Trayvon Martin was 17 years old and didn't nobody say shit. As a matter of fact, the dominant society was trying to round their age up. Oh, Tamir Rice is 12, but he looked like he was 20. How the fuck a 12-year-old look like a 20-year-old? And I don't give a fuck if a 12-year-old has a full beard. He's still a 12-year-old. But when it comes to any W, they want to say, oh, that's a boy. Oh, that's a girl. Kyle Rittenhouse. Oh, that's a boy. Every time you seen on the news, they reference him as a young man, a boy, and I even seen people reference him as a child. That was a grown-ass man doing grown-ass man things, knowing exactly what the fuck he was doing. That's what we talk about. It's either they're young or it's mental illness, because little Billy walked in on his mom picking lice out of her hair, and he's never been the same since. So he decided to go on some goddamn spree, and he only did it because he was mentally ill, and he was really a 35-year-old, 2-year-old. The fuck out of here. And mind you, all the young black brothers that we just named were all innocent children. All the W's we're naming are all grown criminals. So in the system of supremacy, the grown criminal gets treated better than the innocent children. Ain't that a motherfucker? That's the system of supremacy, and then they make them calls, and all these motherfuckers defend it. And that's exactly what we seen every time, all the time. I mean, you could just go down the list. We already know it. It's to the point where they don't even try. You feel me? You already know they're going to hit you with the mental health. You already know they're going to hit you with that, he was just a boy. They're going to always hit you with that shit. We could sit here and say it right now, family. In about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, there'll be another case, and then they'll run the same fucking game. 2-3 months after that, there'll be another case, and then they'll run the same game. You already know what supremacy is going to do before they do it, because they have ran out of options. See, when Certified Black Society and the Black Grassroots showed up, we start highlighting and framing this shit. There used to be a time where they could just say it and everybody would just go along with it. Everybody just trot along, and all shit would be sweet. It ain't sweet no more. Now we calling shit out, and we're making motherfuckers have to change the game. And eventually we're going to continue to call it out and frame it to the point where it's exposed and they have nothing else to do but to remove themselves out the paint. And that's how you got to continue to do it. Now, speaking of Stephen A. Smith, the way he does it, we already know what he does. You can literally look at Stephen A. Smith. You can hear the inflection in his tone. You can see his mannerisms. You can hear his voice. When he starts talking about black people, in particular Kyrie, because he cannot stand Kyrie, I'm not surprised that the athlete who is pretty much considered the most kind of rebel, the guy who marches to the beat of his own drum, the guy who's really sticking up for what he believes in the most in terms of the athlete world, I'm not surprised that that's the guy that Stephen A. Smith has picked out personally to have a vendetta against. Now, mind you, Stephen A. Smith has beef with Kevin Durant, he's beef with Terrell Owens, Stephon Marbury, I mean a whole list of black men, right? The only time you ever seen him apologize was to a W woman, Michelle Beadle. Yup. Oh yeah, he made some comment about Ray Rice, and some W woman said, I'm just so appalled that Stephen A. Smith could get on this network and say that. Man, they came back from commercial. I'm Stephen A. Smith, and it was one of the most egregious mistakes I've ever made. Motherfucker changed his tone real quick. But you see, when he starts talking about black men, he know he got that green light. He knows that's his job. His job is to sit in that motherfucking seat, criticize, critique, and throw black people under the bus. And then at the same time, uplift and praise the dominant society. If he ever decided to wake up and not do that, then his ass would be not sitting in that seat. He would not have a job. He would not be on national television, and he would not receive his butter biscuits. So anytime you see him start talking about black folks, in particular Kyrie Irving, oh my God, that motherfucker is mad. He's angry. He's literally sitting there fuming hot. Anytime he starts talking about the dominant society, in particular some of the little pets he has. The guy, Aaron Rodgers, who made some lies last year about something that he was supposed to do and he never did. Y'all check that out. Aaron Rodgers. He loved him some Aaron Rodgers. And it was known that Aaron Rodgers had lied about taking something, and he never did. And then what did he end up doing? What Stephen A. Smith end up doing? Nothing. He didn't say a goddamn thing about Aaron Rodgers. Matter of fact, he went around Aaron Rodgers and started talking about Kyrie. And then when they started talking about the lockout with the NBA, he didn't talk about the lockout and some of these owners trying to utilize and steal from the players. He went around all the owners, started talking about Kyrie. And then when it came down to the protests, the national protests that were going on, where Kyrie Irving, who I think is the vice president of the NBA Players Association, if I'm not mistaken, he went around all the protests, started talking about Kyrie. This motherfucker will jump, skip, hop over every single W in the room and say, I got a problem with Kyrie. Yeah, but what about these racist owners? No. Kyrie. Yeah, but what about Aaron Rodgers lying to everybody? No. Kyrie. What about the national protests and police brutality that's being spoke of all across the country? Nope. But what do you want to talk about? Kyrie. You see what I'm talking about? If it ain't hating a black man, he don't want to talk about it. But when it comes to talking about the dominant society, he pull out that shoe polish, he pull out that nail polish, that buffer, and he gets to cleaning them goddamn shoes. I told y'all, these motherfuckers out here bootlicking folks that ain't even wearing boots. You know it's a cold day. As a matter of fact, listen to this clip right here, and it's cut up to hear how he talks about black folks and how he talks about W folks. Listen.
But here's the reality. He should be fined every damn day he doesn't talk. You know, everything that has happened to Kyrie Irving, that Kyrie Irving has self-inflicted, go back and look at the tapes. Quote him. It's always the media. Always. Like, how dare us connect the dots and say 1 + 1 = 2. You won a championship with a brother in 2016. Far be it for us to come to the conclusion that, oh my God, you might have been talking about LeBron. Who else did you play with?
See what I'm talking about? Y'all see that shit right there, right? He know goddamn well his whole temperament and mood changes when he starts talking about black people. And this is what you get when you're dealing with these sellouts. They cannot stand themselves. This is why we have no room for no open door. This is why we have no room for allowing people to come in and you ain't getting the motherfucking microphone. I mean, I want y'all to think about it. Anytime we allow some type of off-code person to come into one of our summits and our rallies and speak, they end up diverting the energy away from everything. Y'all remember when Candace Owens went to one of those revolt summits a couple years ago? She hijacked the whole fucking event with her ignorance. And guess what? She went home smiling because that was her job. Her job was to go there and disrupt. That's all of their jobs, is to come to our events, exploit the open door policy that shouldn't be in place any goddamn way, disrupt the whole fucking energy. And that's what Candace Owens did. Nobody was talking about money. Nobody was talking about resources. Nobody was talking about finances. Somehow every fucking clip that you've seen on the internet was Candace Owens arguing with T.I. or whoever the fuck. And she knew exactly what the fuck she was doing. And I always say this, if Candace Owens, if Stephen A. Smith, if Cory Booker, Sheila Jackson Lee, Clyburn, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, if these folks can come to your summit, what the fuck is the criteria? That means you ain't got none. That means you pulling any motherfucker off the street. We ain't pulling any motherfucker off the street. You can't come to ours. Hell no, you better be certified and on code before you even show up. And you better be extra certified and on code before you get on that stage. And you better be extra certified and on code before you grab that microphone. That's how you do it. You got to shuffle out and filter out all the bullshit energy and all the riffraffs. We're going to keep this thing thorough. And the only way you keep it thorough is you surround yourself with thorough people. And that's what we do. And that was the beauty about the rally for reparations that our brother Tariq Nasheed put together. It was a bunch of real certified black brothers and sisters. That was the beauty of it, is that we were all on the same page. I'll go as far to say that was the first everybody on code rally, gathering, or whatever you want to call it in modern history, straight up and down. The Million Man March was beautiful. It was successful, but that was a little different. That was more about black folks getting on the same page and working it out. This was about being on code and getting to that motherfucking bag. And this was a whole new era. See, that operated in an era where a lot of black folks were still asleep and half woke. Fuck that. This era, this right here, this was about black folks being on code, being determined and having one singular focus. And we all accomplished that. So salute to everybody who put that together. And that's the type of things that we got to do. There was no open door policy at that rally. No. As a matter of fact, let me tell y'all this. Do you know that every single person who was off code, every single person that was off brand, and every little fucking decoy and snake, they were in the back. They weren't up where the crowd was. They wasn't up where the speakers were. See, the energy shifted all those motherfuckers to the back. Don't even view it as people. Just view it as energy, okay? All the good energy was located and isolated up front in one strong area. And it was radiating and it was permeating. All the negative energy was way the fuck in the back, where nobody even gave a fuck. You know those people that were in the back saying, hoo-ah, and trying to disrupt the rally? When I showed up and got dropped off on the corner, me and Queen Alpha, we walked right around those motherfuckers. Straight up and down. Didn't say nothing to them. Walked right around them. They was hooing, do-a-wooing, and all that shit. And we kept it pushing. And that's pretty much what everybody did. They kept it pushing. That energy was not heard. That energy was not seen. That energy was not respected. That energy didn't mean nothing. Because when you put certified energy in a real place, it casts a shadow over all that sucker shit. That one little long face ass guy with the red cap who's running around and shit, I was sitting there with my brother Sage, and that dude walked right by us. And he walked right by everybody. Nobody paid him attention. You know why? Because that suck-ass energy can't stand in the certified zone. Neither can the bootlick energy. Neither can the butter biscuit energy. Neither can the tap dancing energy. And neither can Zaddy's little pet. None of that energy can exist wherever we are. That's what it's all about, fam. Anytime we step in the building, all the bullshit energy sees itself to the door. It gets out the way. You ever see somebody walk through a crowd, and as they walk through the crowd, everybody's sliding to the side and getting the fuck out the way? That's what it's like when FBA shows up. When foundational Black Americans show up in any atmosphere, we move the crowd. And that's exactly what went on at the reparations rally. That's exactly what goes on in the political world. And that's exactly what goes on all across the planet. So that little weak energy that you see these folks on TV always trying to put out there, always trying to make us look docile, because that's what they want to do. You feel me? They want to speak all that forgiveness shit because they want to pass that energy around. They want all black folks to be wishful thinkers, forgivers, turn the other cheek. I'm just here to let everybody know that fucking era is gone and it ain't coming back. Family, we can rest assured tonight that it will never be the turn the other cheek era, the I had a dream era, the yes we can era. Those eras are gone. I think there's this notion that people think that might come back and eventually everybody be in here saying, we forgives now. We sorry for what's we done's, Massa. I think people think that shit's coming back. It ain't coming back. The what's the matter, boss, we sick, that shit ain't coming back. You gonna have your 1 or 2 or 3 coons to do that shit, but like I said earlier, they ain't gonna be effective. Hell nah. We have ushered in a new era by promoting that energy, by putting shit on the line, by regulating. The new energy that we have created, this is the new norm. This is the new norm. There will never be any of that. The Stephen A. Smiths of the world, the Shaqs, the Barkleys, or who the fuck ever they get off the street, they have no play in this game. Not at all. Nothing they say and nothing they do holds any weight. And it all starts with us clowning their ass. We be out here framing them up. We be out here G-checking them. We be out here putting them in their place. And that is why they do what they do. Because they understand that no matter how much tap dancing, no matter how many pats they get on the head from being Zaddy's pet, none of that shit will ever have an effect on certified black society. This is our era. They're gone. We Michael Jackson, they Tito. Ain't nobody come to see you, Otis, so sit your ass down. That's what it's all about. Now, going back to the Jerry Jones thing. You know when they up against the wall, they just start saying anything? You feel what I'm saying? He'll sit there and say some shit like, well, I went down there to see what was going on. Matter of fact, family, listen.
That was 65 years ago, and I had no idea when I walked up there what we were doing. And it just is a reminder to me of how to improve and do things the right way.
Shit, I love the certified era. And the certified era, that shit right there don't last 2 seconds. Hell no. Fuck no, ain't happening. You see how motherfuckers sit there and say he went to go see what was going on or what it was all about. Motherfucker, you in 1957 in the Deep South, in the height of the lynching era, in the height of the segregation era, you knew exactly what the fuck was going on. This man trying to act like it was some foreign shit to him, right? Like, I just want to go see what they were talking about because I don't know nothing about the lynching. I don't know nothing about the segregation. I don't know nothing about the anti-black racism. So, I just wanted to see if it's true or not. Shit, motherfucker, you know it's true. You know it's true because you practice it, your mama practice it, your daddy practice it, your grandma, your grandpa, your little motherfucking baby cousin, they all practice supremacy. Every last one of them. Your whole goddamn neighborhood are supremacists. The mailmans are supremacists. The milkmans are supremacists. The lawnmans are supremacists. The plumbers are supremacists. The Girl Scouts are supremacists. The Boy Scouts are supremacists. The paper boys are supremacists. Your whole damn school are supremacists. The students are supremacists. The teachers are supremacists. The principals are supremacists. The superintendent is a supremacist. Every doctor is a supremacist. The nurses are supremacists. The police are supremacists. The firefighters are supremacists. That raggedy ass car you drive in, the mechanic who worked on that is a fucking supremacist. Every day he woke up surrounded by supremacy. But yet he went down there just to see what was going on. Man, get the fuck out of here. Man, that was 1957 when literally lynching was a spectator sport. and he's trying to act like he didn't know what was going on. He's trying to plead the fifth. I'm telling you, they will pull out every lie they can because they ain't got a problem with being a supremacist. They just got a problem with getting called a supremacist. You feel me? Be a supremacist, don't get caught. Be anti-black, don't get caught. That's the name of their whole motherfucking gang. So we don't go for that shit at all. We call their ass out. We expose them. One, because it's true, and two, because it pisses them off. And we gonna do every goddamn thing we can to piss them off in good time. But let me say this as well. Let me add on to it, right? They talk about he shouldn't be held responsible because what he did, he was only 15. Well, those black children that he was intimidating, that his whole presence was down on, they was 15. They was 14, they was 13, they was doing this to 6 and 7-year-olds. So at the end of the day, the victim's age, once again, don't matter, but the criminal's age does matter. This is what the fuck we talk about. This is how they try to play the game. And they hate us and they do not like when we show up because we call them on their bullshit and we make motherfuckers have to stand on it. But they ain't got no legs to stand on, so we keep on rolling. And you know, Stephen A. Smith, you know, Zaddy's little pet, getting a little pat on the head, a little lap dog. He starts talking all that shit that he was talking, right? He was making all those excuses and whatever the fuck, okay. He starts saying, Jerry Jones, he done did a lot of things. Now, mind you, Jerry Jones has never hired a black coach, ever. By NFL standards, that's bad. And we all understand that the NFL is $1 million plantation any goddamn way. So you know when you fucking up on $1 million plantation that's already fucked up, you doing some real anti-black shit. The Dallas Cowboys have never had a black head coach. Matter of fact, I think they've only had 2 assistant coaches. Think about that. Once again, the NFL is a $100 million plantation. Everybody knows it. The owners and the coaches operate that like they are the slave masters, and the players operate like they are the slaves. And going out to throw that football around for fucking 2 hours is nothing different than going to pick cotton. And if you get out of line, you will get G-checked. You see the whole system at play when you start watching the NFL and the NBA or any of these sports leagues that black folks do not own, where they have not started their own league, where they basically say, I'd rather go sell out for Massa, go get CTE running my head into another person for Massa, go bow down and apologize for Massa, other than start a real, true, independent black organization, black sports league. We are the ones who give all of this their might. You feel me? Without the black athlete, there is no NBA, there's no NFL, there's no anything. We make the wheels roll. But when you start talking about the whole situation, the NFL, by the way, is 80% black, and black people have no control. Think about it. 100% of the owners are W's, like 99% of the coaches are W's. And then when you look at the quarterbacks, yes, 90% of the quarterbacks are W's. Now, when you look at the NFL, you see every other position: defensive end, safety, wide receiver, running back. All of these positions are filled by black folks. But whenever you start going up that ladder, you start to see it get more and more W. Yes, nobody ever talks about that, but we're going to talk about that shit and expose it. All of the positions of power, that being the owner, that being the coaches, and that being the quarterback, which is the valued position, all of those are W. Everything else is black. It's like when you go into corporate America and you see lower management be blacker than a motherfucker. All different types of black folks in lower management. But when your ass start going up that ladder into upper management, up into the big wigs, up into the real people who call the real shots, all the blackness goes away, all the W goes up. That's exactly what you see with the NFL. You'll see every single position to be a brother. Every big play will be a brother. But when you see who's calling them shots on that sideline, W. When you see who's up in that press box eating some fucking popcorn, W. When you see the person that they put their face on Sports Illustrated and they're the quarterback of the league, W. So you see the plantation right now, and the Dallas Cowboys are a prime example of all of that. Mind you, this is the same Jerry Jones who was hanging out with Mr. Papa John saying, oh, that's a great human being. I love Mr. Papa John's. You feel me? Or excuse me, he was saying, that's a great human being with the Dallas Cowboys. Michael Irving. I used to always say this about Michael Irving. Michael Irvin's made it clear he's not black, he's a Dallas Cowboy. I'm telling you, they look at Jerry Jones like a father figure. And you see a lot of that in the NFL and the NBA. A lot of these brothers who come from these broken homes, they come across a W coach or a W owner and they start looking at him as a father figure. You see a lot of that shit. And this is why they have that mentality where they're like, okay, boss, I'll do whatever you want. because they view these people as father figures, all of them. So they got a lot of these players saying, he ain't no racist. Yeah, but you've been picking cotton for him for about 25 years. So of course you gonna say that shit. And you ain't got a certified bone in your body. So sit your ass down. Never listen to no goddamn athlete. I'm sorry. Occasionally you might have one or two that might say some shit that's alright. But at the end of the day, we understand these folks are serving the plantation. The plantation is what makes their world go round. They getting them Uncle Tom paychecks and them butter biscuits with the frosting. We don't give a flying fuck what none of these athletes say. So when you look at the NFL billion-dollar plantation, when you look at these athletes slave auction, and when you look at these news anchors on television, Zaddy's little pets, you already see the whole fucking play. Now, when you start calling out bullshit, listen to this.
That's what he wants to do. You want to malign him for that? Fine. You want to point out that he's one of 7 black NFL owners that's never hired an African American as a head coach? Fine. Do all of that. Attack him for that. Go ahead. No problem. I see a plethora of African Americans employed by him. I see black players who played for him who rave about this man and what he's done for them on a personal level. But if you want to go by his hiring record when it comes to head coaches, no problem. Can't go the executive route because we know it's him. You understand? He want to be the president, the GM, the owner. He want to do everything. And then he's got his children that he leads on as well. So can't go the executive route. But you want to get on him about the head coaches? Fine. But you're going to bring up a photo of him when he was 14, 15 years old? 65 or 66 years ago.
He talking about Jerry Jones has employed some black people. Okay, yeah, and so does every racist organization in the world. It's not employing, it's exploiting. And they didn't employ these folks based upon what they want to do. They do it based on the market. And the market is the way it is based on us. They would prefer not to give us a goddamn thing. That's why when you look statistically, black folks still make less money than everybody else. Family, this man literally said, Jerry Jones isn't racist because he employs black people. Like every single corporation in this country doesn't employ black people. You have to employ black people. It's called the market. It's called society. It's called economics. You don't get no pass for employing black folks. If that's the case, every single corporation on the planet Earth will be let go. Everybody's done employed a black person here and there. And what jobs are these people doing? Were they working at the stadium? Because like we said, when you go up that ladder, them black folks ain't there. He ain't got no assistant coaches. He ain't ever hired no coach. When you go up in that press box, it's all W's. I promise y'all, go look at the press box when the Dallas Cowboys or any of these NFL teams play and tell me how many black folks you see. Tell me. Look at any press box. I'm talking about every goddamn team. I think there's 32 teams. You can go to the NBA as well. Tell me how many times you look up in the press box and you see a black person there. If you do, it's an athlete that played for the team and they're only being invited up so they can have some popcorn and take a picture and their asses walk right back down to the crowd. You don't never see that. He said because he employs black people. Like that exonerates you. That's like going to the plantation and saying, he got black folks on the plantation, he can't be racist. The fuck out of it. Boy, let me tell you something. When your ass is tap dancing, you'll say any goddamn thing. Anything. Once again, when you're dealing with shameless people, you get shameless things. When you're dealing with spineless people, you're getting spineless things. And it's clear that these folks are not only shameless, they are spineless. Just a whole lot of less, okay? Nothing greater, nothing stronger, just less. They got less independence, they got less intelligence, they got less empowerment, but the only thing they do have is more tap dancing, more coon walking, front, back, side to side, and more Massa loving. When it comes to that, that's the only thing they do good. And boy, it's sad when your whole existence, your whole life, your whole defining legacy is one big ass biscuit. That's it. No empowerment, no generational wealth, no money, no paper, nope. Just a big ass biscuit. Work your whole life for a biscuit. Hey, you can't pass down generational biscuits. I don't know what they talking about. Hey, we out here getting reparations. We gonna pass down generational wealth as in money, as in some shit that can be spent. He think he gonna pass down some generational biscuits. He gonna leave his kids some crumbs and shit. Be like, hey man, this is the style of biscuits we was eating in 2029. Back in my day, the biscuits would get glazed. Y'all kids don't know how good you got it. They talking to the future coons. Cause remember, all old coons started off as young coons. That's why when you see a young coon, check their ass before they become an old coon and you get the job done 2 for 1. Easy work. See, sometimes things are very easy. It ain't that difficult and ain't that complicated. Motherfuckers try to make it look like regulating and enforcing the code is some difficult task and you're gonna break down trying to do it. No, the fuck it ain't. No, it ain't. As a matter of fact, if you do it, you might have some pride in the shit and it might be fun. See, that's the difference between us and everybody else. They so uptight and so goddamn stick in the mud and it's so serious to them. Family, G-check a motherfucker who's off code and laugh about it. G-check a motherfucker who's off brand and have fun. Roast the motherfucker. That's what it's all about. We already run the roast game anyway, so that's what we do. And guarantee you, when foundational black Americans get to roasting these sellout ass motherfuckers, they ain't never gonna come back. Y'all wanna know why the coons stick around? It's because don't nobody roast them. Do what we do to the tethers. Think about it. A tether get his ass roasted in the 3rd grade and remember that shit for the rest of his life. Do the same thing to a coon. Same goddamn thing. Have fun. It's all fun. Fuck it. Let's go to work. If these motherfuckers take pride in selling us out, then we gonna take pride in running them out the motherfucking door. Sound good to me, family. I'm here for it. The fuck out of here, man. Hey, man, ain't nothing with these coons, man. I'm telling you, wanna talk about something worthless, something that ain't real, something that ain't right. That's exactly what you're talking about. That's exactly what you're talking about. Now, mind you, this ain't just what we saying. Once again, we ain't gonna say anything that we can't slam a receipt on the table. We got spoilers. I'm not just saying that he's not working for himself. I'm not just saying that he's not working for generational wealth. I'm not just saying he's not working for the betterment of the black community. He said it. Remember, Stephen A. Smith is the same guy who said he gets up every day and the first thought on his mind is how he can make some money for his boss, Massa, and how he can get some of it. Not all of it. Not a lot of it. Some of it. I ain't said. That's what he said. Listen.
I wake up every morning with 2 thoughts. Number 1, how do I make my bosses more money? And number 2, how do I get some of it? And when I put it like that, there isn't anybody that's not going to be receptive to what I want to say because they recognize that my number 1 mission is to make sure they're successful. And when you have that kind of mentality, it opens the floodgates because it makes an inordinate amount of people receptive to what you're bringing to the table because
mentality, slave, working for is balsa, and no, we are not receptive to it because we are independent. That man said the first thing on his mind is how he could make money for another man. Damn. Just when you thought the cooning couldn't get more coonified, a motherfucker shows up and says some shit like that. Family, listen to the difference between us and them. Listen to the difference between us and them. Everything we do is about the youth. It's about empowerment. It's about tangibles. It's about making a better future. People like him wake up and say, how can I serve master? You know who else woke up and said, how can I serve master? Slaves. But at least they had to because they were in bondage. What the fuck is his excuse? That's why we say a lot of folks have never got off the plantation mentally. And that's what we've been facing. We've been facing that the whole time in this country, the country that we built. There are black people who are free spirits, and then you have black folks who have a slave mentality. And that has always went on. That's why we keep duplicating and keep running circles with the same exact people all the time. This is why I say we have to eradicate and get rid of this type of energy right here today. The coons got to go, got to bounce, got to get them out the paint. That's just what happens because I'm telling you, family, that is our whole existence. Go all the way back to the slave plantations. Go to the civil rights era, Reconstruction, right here, right now, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. There are always going to be these slave-minded folks who are spiritually still on the plantation. You can get rid of the plantation. The plantation can burn down. The plantation can be knocked down, bulldozed, demolished. And these folks won't leave. They will not leave. What do they say? They said you got 2 types of slaves. You got the slave who's got shackles on physically, and then you got the person who's got the shackles in his mind. And the person with the shackles in his mind never goes away. It'll never go away. You are not going to wake up tomorrow afternoon at 3:15 and all of a sudden, all the coons with the shackles in their minds are going to be set free. This little thing where everybody's going to be set free. One day, Stephen A. Smith's going to see the light. Michael Eric Dyson, Candace Owens, they all just going to see the light tomorrow at 3:15 p.m. And everything's going to be good. It ain't happening. The way you got to view it is once you see a coon, once you see an off code, once you see a Sambo, brand them as that forever. That's what it is. See, it's funny because when people start branding certifieds, they don't try to give us no leeway. They see us as a problem and as a threat forever. But yet somebody will see a coon and see him as a half-time threat, a part-time threat. It's only going to go on for so long. You got to match energy with energy. If they gonna see us as certified as a threat forever, then we need to see they cooning as a threat forever. Nobody's ever gonna give us the benefit of the doubt, so why the fuck do people keep giving them the benefit of the doubt? Stephen A. Smith will always be like that. That's who he is. That's who he's beholden to. That's why we say this is their religion. Supremacy is their religion, and being beholden and a minion to supremacy is their religion. As a matter of fact, the people who are beholden to supremacy and the minions and the puppets of supremacy, they're even worse than the supremacists sometimes because they have a point to prove. When you're on a quest to show Zaddy that you's a good little pet, that you's a nice little lapdog, that you'll do all his dirty works for him, you'll go round up all the black folks in the field, you'll keep them contained. Whenever you have that in your mind, oh man, you jumping through hoops. They'll do things for supremacy that supremacy won't do for supremacy. Let me say that one more motherfucking time. They will do things for supremacy and for supremacists that the supremacist wouldn't do for his own self because he loves Massa more than Massa loves himself. That's why. And when you get that type of energy, it's real dangerous, fam. Real dangerous. We gotta take coon serious, y'all. We gotta take coon serious. You show me a man that loves another man that much, that person is dangerous. When you show me a man that says he wakes up every day to go get Massa some money. Now mind you, when he says to make his bosses some money, his boss is guess who? His boss is the dominant society. He don't view no black man as his boss. Trust me when I tell you that. That ain't got nothing to do with boss. He just used the term boss. Really what it means is to go make bossa some money. There's a difference between boss and bossa, okay? He's not talking about boss, like you go to work and you have a boss. No. He means he wakes up every day and he's got to go serve bossa. And bossa is going to tell him what the fuck to do and he's going to do it. He tells you, family, that he serves Massa. That's what it is. He's telling you right now, he will do what they tell him to do, and the number one thing they tell him to do is to come down on other black people. Family, never trust, never rock with, never stand around and take very serious a black person whose job is to harm other black people based on what the dominant society tells them to do. That is one of the biggest threats that you will ever see. And the very fact that people never took that as a serious threat, that's why slave revolts got stopped. That's why anybody who planned to leave the plantation got caught, got told on, got squealed on, got snitched on, end up getting a rope tied around them. That's why the Fred Hamptons of the world happened. That's why the Martin Luther Kings of the world happened. The Megas Elvers. Every single time you seen a black person who was a pillar in the community get harmed, you had one of these suckers standing right next to him in their circle. That's what it was. When black folks would leave the plantation, it would be the house Negro that would go chase them down and go tell Massa, they's gonna runs at 12 o'clock. That's what would happen. Everybody thinks the term no snitching or stop snitching comes from some recent street stuff. No, it don't. No, the fuck it doesn't. Stop snitching goes all the way back to the plantation. Yes, everybody thinks that it comes from just the hood and some street shit. Nah. That's the modern day version of it. But trust and believe, before that happens in the streets, it was happening on the plantation. Because anytime a black person will go get with another black person, anytime a certified will go get with another certified, anytime a brother or a sister would team up to do what was right for our people, somebody will come in and do what? They would snitch. The term snitch is new. Telling on black folks to a W has always existed. One more time. The term snitch is new, but a black person telling on another black person to the dominant society is as old as slavery. That's where it comes from. So we've always had this tattletale, tell on you, I'm gonna go talk to Massa, tell him what y'all's about to do, and y'all gonna get punished for it. We've always had that. There ain't no different from this guy in the streets going to tell on this guy in the streets so he can send him to jail, opposed to somebody saying, I'm gonna tell on this guy who's about to lead the plantation, I'm gonna tell on this girl who don't wanna pick cotton, I'm gonna tell on these black folks who talk back, I'm gonna tell on these black folks who say they're gonna have a revolt. It's the same exact thing. It's just happening in modern form. Facts. And family, you can look right now and tell who the tellers are. You can tell who the tellers are just by looking at him. Stephen A. Smith, he telling on every goddamn body. He telling on everybody. Shaquille O'Neal, he telling on everybody. Charles Barkley, everybody. Candace Owens, everybody. Buck Kari Sellers, everybody. Angela Rye, everybody. Herschel Walker, everybody. Raphael Warnock, everybody. Stacey Abrams, everybody. All them goddamn British actors that they fly over here to play our roles, y'all can look at them and tell, they tell on everybody. They're going to run, Massa. Do you want me to go catch them? Splendid. All of them. Guarantee it. Y'all notice I left out Kamala Harris and Barack Obama because they would just be in the house serving the drinks and polishing the shoes. So y'all already know they goddamn roll. But that's what it is, family. How the fuck can we sit here and go through 500 years of this type of energy and folks think it's gonna go away? This has to be the era. We have to be the people that get rid of all the sellouts. And it ain't nothing new for us by being the first. The same way we're the first era to bring reparations to the table, the same way we're the first era to bring tangibles to the table, the same way we're going to be the first era that gets the anti-black hate crime bill signed is the same way that we got to be the first era that ends cooning. That's it. You got to do it. We got to do it. We all got to do it. And we all will do it. You know, it's because you already see things in motion. This ain't back then, all right? This ain't that we just going to say some shit just to say it. You feel me? Oh, there's a victory now. Oh, victory's not far away. There's a lot of work to do. Yeah, we don't have none of that shit. When we say things, you see it. The gatekeeping, I see it. The G-checking, I see it. The pulling paperwork, I see it. The very fact we use those terms. Nobody used those terms back in the day. Matter of fact, family, what was the term they even used to get rid of folks who were off code? Did they even have a fucking term? I'm just saying 10 years ago. We ain't even got to go back to 50 years ago. What is the term that people used back in the day to identify somebody who was off code? I mean, okay, Uncle Tom and sellout. Okay, that's what those people are. I'm talking about what was the term for what we did to stop them. Did anybody have any family? Like, please help me. Like, what the fuck was people calling running motherfuckers off the block? That's another one. We run them off the block. We run them out the paint. We run them off the field. We G-check them. We pull their paperwork and we gatekeep. I mean, that's just a couple terms that we come up with in the last few years. These folks don't do any of that. What do we say? We always say, man, your paperwork came back dirty. Checking people's paperwork. Man, they weren't doing that shit and they damn sure wasn't saying it. Because instead of saying pulling paperwork, they said things like diversity. You feel me? Instead of saying G-checking, they said things like inclusion. Instead of saying things like gatekeeping, they said things like integration. You see the difference on the way folks move by the way folks talk. If somebody's talking all that happy-go-lucky, wishful thinking, can't we all get along Disneyland shit, you already know you're dealing with the slave who's got the shackles in his mind. When someone starts talking about regulating, that's another term. When someone starts talking about G-checking, gatekeeping, now you're dealing with a certified who don't take no shit. And let me tell you something. The certified who don't take no shit are the people who get things done, are the people that move the needle, are the people that empower us all. How do we know that? Because we are those people. Salute to us, family. Salute to us. There's going to be a lot of motherfucking haters that pop up, a lot of spectators who pop up, a lot of people who got bones to pick with certified foundational black American freemen, and they can stay mad because we are out here doing the real work. We out here loyal to the soil. We're out here really putting it down, and we're going to celebrate our goddamn self. If they going to hate, then we gonna celebrate. So let's continue to G-check everybody, but in the process, let's stop and do a toast for us. Why? It's because we are the greatest. We are the best heritage, lineage, and culture on this planet. We built this country that everybody wants to run to, flee to, hop to, skip to, and we still maintain our greatness in the meantime. That right there deserves a certified salute. So I send out to all of us a certified salute. Matter of fact, hey, speaking of inclusion and segregation and African American, y'all know after the Stephen A. Smiths of the world, they're just the open, blatant, overt sellouts. After they get to talking, they get to running their mouth saying a bunch of bullshit. Y'all know the next thing that the dominant society does is they got to go pull out them old Negroes from the past. And them old Negroes from the past are going to tell you some old, outdated ass story or some old, outdated ass tactic that does not apply nowadays. Family, if you're going to look at the little situation with Jerry Jones, that was right before the Little Rock 9. Do y'all know, and by the way, that lets you know that Jerry Jones knew what the fuck was going on because the Little Rock 9 people are still talking about 60 fucking years later. So don't tell me his ass didn't know about it 6 days before it happened. Of course. But y'all know after they hit you with the mental health, it was a long time ago. He was only a 2-year-old. He was a baby. He was a 35-year-old, 4-year-old. After they hit you with all that bullshit, after the Stephen A. Smiths come on and say, I forgives, I'm mad, it's really black people's problem. All that shit of the whole play, the whole game that we seen time after time. Y'all know what they got to do next. They got to pick up that coon phone, dial 1900COON, and then get one of these old Negroes on the phone. And you know they already come up talking some shit that ain't got nothing to do with reality, ain't got nothing to do with facts, ain't got nothing to do with the truth. Because you know, these old Negroes and these happy-go-lucky, wishful thinking, they operate in a world that does not exist. It's one thing to operate in a world that does exist and you just got like a optimistic standpoint. It's another thing when you operating in a motherfucking world that has never existed, a motherfucking world that has never been seen or saw outside of your raggedy ass brain. That's what these folks be living in. I'm telling you, the world we see of oppression, of brutalization, of black folks being harmed for 500 years, they don't see that shit. They see a world of marshmallows, feathers, flowers, the dominant society inviting them over for dinner. They have this want to be next to the dominant society so much in their head that they literally start to conjure the shit up, and they see it when they close their eyes. And then they go try to live it out. That's what happens. Usually it ends up bad when they try to go live it out. But this is the delusion that these motherfuckers live in, the oblivious nature of these old sellout civil rights Negroes. So they got one of these Little Rock 9 guys on the phone or whatever they called him in on CNN, and he started talking about all these things what Jerry Jones could do to make the bad ending a happy ending. See, hey, fam, didn't I just say that they living in Disney World? Here's another receipt. When I say that they're living in Disney World, and then he comes on and says Jerry Jones has the chance to make this a happy ending, where the fuck else do you see happy endings? Alice in Wonderland, Snow White, Aladdin, Sleeping Beauty. I mean, he's literally talking about a fucking happy ending like this is a goddamn Disney movie you take your 7-year-old to. This is a 70-year-old talking about a happy ending like a 7-year-old. And he's been doing it for 70 years. Man. And y'all wonder why I get so goddamn mad about Edmund Pettus Bridge. I'll be damned. Can't make this shit up. Listen.
So joining us now to talk about this is a member of the Little Rock 9, Ernest Green. And Ernest, good morning and thank you for being with us. And I think first off, we just want to get your reaction to what Jerry Jones said as he's explaining his presence in that photo.
Well, good morning to both of you and to the audience. Well, my view is that Jerry Jones has an opportunity to make that picture have a different ending by pursuing diversity and inclusion and involvement of the African American community, of people of color all throughout this country.
Man, what the fuck? Within 30 seconds, he already said diversity, inclusion, involvement, African American, and POC. Wasn't no POCs in that picture. It was black folks. POCs weren't even in the country. Look at him trying to crowbar other people into our existence, trying to crowbar other people into our history. How can you say POC when there weren't any POCs there? Those were black people getting harmed. Those are black people getting water hose sprayed on them, getting sick by dogs, getting milkshakes poured on their head, getting lynched. Wasn't no POCs in the whole picture. Family, that's not a mistake. That's not a mishap. That's not a screw up. That's a bold-faced fucking delusional lie. It's that same fantasy land, can't we all get along? I don't want to upset Massa. That's what we talk about. That's Massa's little pet. The same little timidness you hear in his voice. Well, if you know, and people of color, and all the terms that he used are terms that the dominant society promotes and sponsors. The dominant society promotes the term inclusion. The dominant society promotes the term African American. The dominant society promotes the term involvement. They don't mind that. They want you to be involved. They don't want you to control. They want you to be included. They don't want you to be empowered. They want you to be an African American. They don't want you to be a foundational black American. All of those terms that they put into circulation are terms that work to their benefit. And then you get these old Negroes and these sellouts and these little Massa's pets, and they say the same exact thing. Y'all know what it is. See, they don't like the terms that we use now because these are the terms that we created. We're the ones who say certified foundational black American. You feel me? We say certified, not counterfeit. We say foundational, not African. We say empowerment, not involvement. The words that you use are going to be very, very determining on how far you go and how much you achieve. If you use terms that were handed down to you by Zaddy, like for instance, y'all seen Michael Eric Dyson a couple days ago and he was talking about toxic masculinity. Who the fuck came up with that term? Who came up with that term? That is straight out of the liberal playbook, and then they handed it down. I'm telling you, these people's whole dictionary is based upon what was given to them by Massa, and then they go around and say it. And a lot of them say this shit so much they don't even know where the fuck it came from. We don't say those words. That's why there's this mission now to try to get us to stop saying the things that we say, trying to get us to stop speaking the way we speak, trying to get us to stop talking that real shit, aka that certified language. The certified language that we have right now is changing the game because kids are watching. And no No longer are kids using these weak ass terms. See, when you use a weak ass term, that means you probably got a weak ass approach. If you got a weak ass approach, that means you probably a weak ass person. You feel me? Now, when you start talking empowerment, when you start moving empowered, when you start having an empowerment approach, that means that you're going to get empowerment results. And that's what we're getting right now, empowerment results. Family, why do you think that we're doing so much right now? We've all said it. We've done more in the last 5 years than they've done in the last 50. No offense to that guy talking right there, but I tell you this right now, 50 years from now, brothers and sisters won't be talking like that. You won't be hearing that bullshit. Trust and believe. See, that's the thing. When they was talking all that defeated Negro shit, that's why you got a motherfucker 60 years later talking about inclusion, talking about POCs that weren't even present. He's talking about people that weren't even there. Didn't I say they living on some Disneyland shit? He might as well just got there and said, well, you know, Sleeping Beauty was there too. She was in the back row. You know, Snow White came down. She caught a bus from Selma. Aladdin was there too, and Winnie the Pooh. I mean, fuck, if you just gonna make shit up, just say it. As a matter of fact, you would have seen Winnie the Pooh there before you seen a person of color. I said it. Goddamn right. Trust me, you would have seen Aladdin, Pinocchio, the fucking Lion King, Simba would have showed the fuck up. All of those people would have been there before a POC was there. How the fuck did he see a POC? How? There ain't none in the picture. You just making it up. And that type of energy and that type of bullshit is what we talk about, where you can just say things. Let me tell you something. To a COON, facts don't matter, the truth don't matter, reality don't matter. All right? The only thing that matters to them is placating Massa because they Massa's little pet. And a nice little Massa's pet does what the fuck Massa does. You know how motherfuckers give a dog a bone? These motherfuckers get their little butter biscuit, do a little flip, sit down Sparky, sit down Muffy, roll over on your back, beg. That's all the shit they do. And that's the role that they fucking play. So I'm telling you right now, 50 years from now, you're going to see black folks talking about empowerment. You're going to see black folks talking about reparations. You're going to see black folks talking about tangibles. Everything that we talking about now is you're going to see the old black folks in the future talking about. That's the difference. The reason why we sit here and say these old Negroes is because when they were young Negroes, they was off code. And that's why we say when you see somebody off code, you got to check them on sight. You got to end it right here, right now, today. Not tomorrow, not the next day, not next week, not we'll get to them later, not put them on the back burner. G-check that shit now so you don't have to deal with that shit later. Bullshit festers when you don't handle it. So we gonna handle it right here, right now. I'm looking at my watch. We got time today. We got all the time today. We gonna get to the money and we gonna get to the reality, because that's the only way you empower yourself. You don't empower yourself through fantasy. No. You don't empower yourself through Disneyland. No. You don't empower yourself by wishful thinking, by hoping it will get better, by coping. No. You empower yourself based on reality and the set of facts that are present within reality, and then you handle it accordingly. So the very fact that most of us are living in reality, and then we got this other group that's living in fantasy with fucking Bambi's hanging out with them, Bambi's mama's hanging out with them, Alice in Wonderland, fucking Peter Pan, every single imaginary character on the planet Earth is hanging out with these folks. That's not what we're about. We're about reality, and in reality, it's reparations over everything. In reality, it's tangibles over everything. And in reality, it's all about black empowerment. If you ain't on any of that, then you can't come around us, you can't be around us, you can't hang around us, and you damn sure don't speak for us. And we are putting that precedence in the universe. We speaking that shit to life, and we out here making it happen. Real truth to power. That's what we do, and that's the difference between now and then. So yes, family, we're on game, we're on time, and we are going to deliver peace, power, and deliver our way. And our way is the only way. And that's what they don't like, and that's what they can't really deal with right now. It's because there used to be a time, and that was pretty much the last 50 years, 40 years, 30 years, where anything they say went. Now there's pushback. You feel me? Now we're out here really making it happen. Salute to our sister Shanquella Robinson, and salute to her family. Her mother just came out and said if it wasn't for black folks on the internet, then her case would have been dissolved and everybody would have made it hush hush and go away. Now they spend all this time, the Roland Martins of the world, the Van Jones of the world, they talk about them woke people on the internet. Remember Bakari Sellers was trying to say our brother Marcel ran a campaign on the internet? Well, newsflash to everybody. The internet is actually consisted of real people. I mean, there's actually real human beings. And guess what? A lot of things that people come up with on the internet, they take out here in the streets. And a lot of things that people do in the streets, they take to the internet. So if you think it's just a bunch of woke folks behind keyboards, you got another motherfucking thing coming. You got another thing coming. You genuinely have a real network of black people. And that's, by the way, it's called networking. And you know, people network on the internet. It's funny how when a corporate 500 company networks on the internet, no talk, everything's cool. When supremacists network on the internet, no talk, everything's cool. But once we start talking about black empowerment, once we start exchanging notes, once we start having these think tanks where we convene and we configure, then all of a sudden the internet becomes a bad place. They don't mind getting on the internet saying vote blue no matter who, saying anybody but Trump, saying vote Democrat until your fingers don't work no more. Oh, they ain't got a problem with that at all. Soon as we start talking about black empowerment, soon as we start spreading our message, then they want to get us to stop. Remember, find out what supremacy is trying to stop you from doing, and then do it. They would not tell you about how evil folks are on the internet unless they wanted you to get off the internet. All right? They would not tell you how bad being independent was unless they were trying to stop you from being independent. They would not tell you about how bad particular stories are and how you shouldn't follow them unless they was trying to get you to not follow them. So the very fact that all of us have networked and all of us have kept the story about our sister Shanquella Robinson in the forefront, salute to us, but salute to everybody. Salute to the whole family tree. It has been our lineage. It has been our heritage. It has been our power that has kept this going, that has kept the focus on this to where we get justice. And we will not stop until we get justice. Y'all notice when you had the Sean Queens of the world running around here, you had the Tamika Cadillac Mallory, you had the Black Lives Matters running around, nothing got done. Nothing got done. They were acting like they was keeping stories around and they were sitting there eating off the donations from them stories. When the new black media, certified black society, when we start putting things out there, now you're starting to see charges. Now you're starting to see people be held responsible. That is what we're doing. The black grassroots, we gonna get you in every aspect. Them same folks that you talk about is on the internets and they woke on the internet. Yeah, they on the internet working. Yep. And they also meeting out in these streets and they working. So you got to deal with us on both sides. Brothers and sisters ain't out here hiding behind keyboards. That's for the chumps. No, we're taking the same things that we network about, that we politic about in technology, and then we going to put the work out in the streets. Family, that's called truth to power. The truth is on the network and then the power is out in the streets. How they gonna deal with that? They can't. So we've been keeping the story about our sister Shanquella Robinson alive, and we're going to continue to do so until we get real justice. We done replaced all the little fake ass activists. Tamika Mallory, you don't hear her no more. You don't hear about Sean Queen no more. Black Lives Matters over with. You don't see none of these people no more. They've all been replaced with the new black media and with the black grassroots, and the black grassroots is everybody. See, that's the thing. When you want to be a sellout, you want to be a chump, you got to go through all the testing from Zaddy. You got to jump through all the hoops that Massa tells you to. When you want to be certified black society, all you got to do is be certified. When you want to be in the black grassroots, all you got to do is be thorough. And everybody who's real can show up. No open door policy, just a bunch of real ones holding it down block to block. That's how you get things accomplished. That's why we're getting things accomplished. I mean, how many stories have you seen our brother Tariq Nasheed break? I mean, Tariq breaks a lot of stories. Stories that the mainstream media, the boule, all these fake ass activists never touch. They claim to be so plugged in, but there's literally stories that we'll be talking about for years and they won't say nothing, not one sound, not a peep. But how many stories has our brother Tariq Nasheed broke? How many stories has Professor Black broke? How many stories has Jason Black broke? The new black media breaks all the real stories with the real truth. If you want to get some real, genuine information, sit down and plug in with the new black media. It's going to always happen. That's why I say on Sunday, all the way back to the next Sunday, every day of the week, you have a plethora of information that is being brought to you by the new black media. That is being brought to you by the black grassroots, and is getting things done out here in real time. So one of the main notions and one of the main aspects of doing so much and accomplishing so much, which we've done in the last 5 years, is based upon the collective effort between all of us together. We work together. That's why I always say we building, we working, we shining, we grinding. We doing all four of those simultaneously. And before, you used to get one here, one there, skip one, go to the other. Now you getting it all done at the same time. I told a brother before, I don't believe in contingency plans. I don't believe in backup plans. I believe in simultaneous plans, which means we're going to give them that work in every single aspect. We're going to give them that work on every single angle. Once you start doing that, that's how things get done. Not no, you stay there and don't do nothing for 5 years. You stay there and don't do nothing for 5 years. Y'all over there, y'all got 2 years. Y'all over there got 1 year. Man, fuck that. How about everybody gets working right now? Because if we all start working right now, we all start building this building, brick by brick by brick, no days off, take no rest, no naps, we can sleep later. When we all start putting in work together, when we all do a lot, then we get a lot done. And that's what we're doing. And you could all look at us right now. So salute to the whole family, salute to the whole team. We've got all the momentum we need. We got all the power we need. We got all the intelligent minds, all the brothers and sisters, kings and queens, goddess and gods, got them all. So that's why you're starting to see this thing push, and that's why you're starting to see everybody pissed off. But like I always say, if they pissed off at us right now, then they gonna be some pissed off motherfuckers then, because it don't stop. Speaking of don't stop, man, did y'all see D.L. Hughley come out? I think on Charlemagne's show or whatever the fuck, and he was in there talking about some, man, Joe Biden, he did the best thing legislative that you could ever do. Once again, the same way Stephen A. Smith was sitting in that seat caping for Jerry Jones, you see D.L. Hughley sitting in that seat caping for Joe Biden. They'll never quit. That's what happens when you're dealing with Massa's little pet. That's what happens when you're dealing with Zaddy's little poodle. They gonna do whatever Zaddy and Massa tells them to do. They gonna throw that goddamn dog bone in the air and they gonna jump in that motherfucker and catch it like it's the dog show. And all the little dominant society motherfuckers is gonna clap. You ever seen the dog show where they got the little fucking poodles and they get their little fucking hair done and they get their little nails clipped and they put the little ribbon around their fucking neck? That's what it is. It's like Paris Hilton's little dog. She's carrying a purse. That's what they doing. Joe Biden is walking around with a little fucking purse and he's got D.L. Hughley in that motherfucker. All right, Jerry Jones is walking around with a little purse and he's got Stephen A. Smith in that motherfucker. That's what these people are. These are lap dogs. These are Massa's little pet, and they're only there for the pleasure of the dominant society. That's the only goddamn reason. Anytime the dominant society needs some perks, they call in Stephen A. Smith. Anytime the dominant society needs a little pick-me-upper, they call in D.L. Hughley. Anytime the dominant society needs to feel good about themselves, they make that phone call, and here come all them little goddamn pets running to make Massa happy again. Massa starts to frown, they make Massa smile. Massa gets upset, they pick Massa up. When Massa says I'm sick, they say, what's the matter, boss? We sick? It's the carrot and the stick. So D.L. Hughley sitting there talking about Joe Biden, trying to make all these accomplishments up that Joe Biden's never done. Didn't I say that before? Family, I said whenever you start dealing with a Democratic shield, because all the Democratic shield is a Massa's pet, all of their asses. Didn't I say when you start dealing with a Democratic shield, they'll start pointing to all these good things that the Democrats have done that can't nobody see, can't nobody touch, can't nobody feel, nothing tangible. They just make shit up. Once again, didn't I tell y'all, it's Disneyland. When you deal with shameless people, you get shameless shit. They will make up anything, they'll say anything, whatever pleases Massa. Whatever puts a smile on Massa's face, because their whole life is just to serve, to serve, to serve. Not serve self, not serve community, not to serve their own people, it's to serve Massa. So D.L. Hughley sitting there trying to run through all these accomplishments that Joe Biden does not have. He's trying to point to all these great things that the Democrats have done for black folks, and they haven't. And he's just pulling things out the goddamn sky. So he starts talking about Stacey Abrams. And he says, man, they don't want Stacey Abrams to win is because Stacey Abrams represents everything in a black woman. She represents someone who's strong, someone you can't control. Fam, let me ask y'all this question. Did y'all see Stacey Abrams dancing? Did y'all see that shit? Did y'all see Stacey Abrams rapping? Did y'all see that? Did anything about that look like a certified black American woman? Did it? Did it look like our freedmen sisters? Did it look like our foundational black American queens? Did anything about that look like our lineage? Did anything about that wide and offside ass dance she was doing look like our lineage? Hell no. Hell no. What it looked like is a black woman who's been hanging around Karen for so long. She starts trying to act like Karen. She starts trying to walk like Karen, talk like Karen, and apparently she dances like Karen. If that was a damn W woman, you wouldn't know any difference, would you? She ain't had no goddamn rhythm. If not having rhythm was a person, what the fuck was that?
What do you think scares white people in Georgia about Stacey Abrams, other than the fact that, she might be hard to control?
She's scary. She's scary. She's everything that represents progress and a change. When you look at the most educated segment of our society, it is black women. She made Georgia blue.
That's right.
So that's a very powerful thing, and she's a powerful woman that you can't tell what to do. You can't intimidate her, you can't frighten her. I'd rather pick people that I know at least I can have some semblance of control over.
Do not tell me that that woman represents foundational black American culture, or she's so strong and can't be controlled. Nothing about that represents any strong alpha queen. Hell no. And here's another thing. He's sitting there talking about a bunch of shit that ain't got nothing to do with policy. What about Stacey Abrams' policies, bruh? You talking about black folks again. You see the symbology. This is what you get when you get a Democratic shield, aka Zaddy's little pet, aka Massa lover. This is what you get. You get somebody talking about she's a strong black woman, but he can't say no policies. He's sitting there talking about a woman that can't be controlled, but you don't see no tangibles. I could care less about any of that shit he's talking about. Have you seen pen to paper? Have you seen her write any laws for foundational black Americans? As a matter of fact, she wouldn't even use the term black Americans without including POC, without including minorities, without including every other group in this country. And we already know the group that she truly belongs to. And let's just say that flag's got a lot of colors on it. Yes, and it ain't the foundational black American flag. So you already see, based upon her policies, who she's beholden to, who she represents, and foundational black Americans are the last. That's why her ass didn't get voted for. That's why we did not support her. That's why she lost this election more than she lost the last election. And nobody wants to bring that up. So D.L. Hughley can come up with every motherfucking excuse. He can try to paint her like she's Angela Bassett. Family, I'm gonna say it off rip. Stacey Abrams is not Angela Bassett. Stacey Abrams is not Queen Latifah. She's not. She ain't. Nope. Ain't happening. But ain't that the thing they always do? Ain't that the thing they always do? Y'all remember they were trying to tell us that Barack Obama was Teddy Pendergrass and he was Barry White and he was Al Green. Y'all remember that shit? They was trying to make Barack Obama like he was Samuel L. Jackson. They was trying to make Barack Obama like he was the realest brother on earth. He was gonna come to the barbecue. He was gonna flip the goddamn burgers, drink a 40-ounce, crip walk off the goddamn stage. They acted like he was down for the cause. Not at all. We all remember when they did the same exact thing with Kamala Harris. They tried to act like Kamala Harris was Sister Girl. Remember, she was Sister Girl Kamala. She was Sister Girl Kamala for about 5 months. And as soon as that shit ended, she was Pacific Island Kamala and never returned back. This is what they all do. They try to blackify people. They always try to put something cultural on you when it's clear as day. I mean, this ain't even people that you can really even have a debate about. These are motherfuckers that you can see are so detached from our culture, not just with policies, but with the way they act. Nothing about them represents foundational black Americans, from the boardroom all the way to the living room. But D.L. Hughley is still sitting there licking his wounds, trying to come up with excuses why Stacey Abrams lost. They all are, family. They try to blame black men. They try to blame the black community. No one said anything about the other communities that don't vote for her. The same community that they be trying to give amnesty to, the same community that they be trying to give citizenship to, that same community went and voted for Brian Kemp, the W man. The same W women that she put all these feminist policies in for, right? Man, this is for feminists. This is for all the women's of the world. Yep, and all the women's of Georgia voted for Brian Kemp, the W man. So no one's going to talk about the people of color community. No one's going to talk about the feminist community. No one's going to talk about all the sisterhoods that did not show up for her. They're going to try to put the spotlight on black men. And D.L. Hughley was one of the main ones talking about black men. Y'all need to go vote for Stacey Abrams. If you don't, you ain't a real man. Yep, and you are a Massa lover. And your Massa lover ass is sitting there trying to come up with excuses for why the Democratic Party has never done anything. And this is what they do. If you see reality, you see Democrats have never done shit for us. In the fantasy, Democrats have done so many great things for us. In reality, Democrats have benign neglect for black folks. In fantasy, they think that Democrats prioritize us. Every single thing that has something to do with the truth, they're on the opposite side. The opposite side of the truth is bullshit. And they live in a world of bullshit, and we call them out on the bullshit, and that's why they got nowhere to go. So he continues to tell these lies, sticking up for Massa. He starts talking about Joe Biden pardoning people when it came to marijuana. Let me tell you something, family. We talked about this right here on the Black Alpha Network before. Smash that like button, by the way, and subscribe to the network, by the way. Appreciate the love, appreciate the tap in. We talked about this before. The nuance to all that was, at the end of the day, this was black men getting locked up for marijuana and federal crimes, which represents about fucking 0%. But all the headlines were saying things like Joe Biden pardons black men. They would put black and weed in the same headline. You feel me? They don't do this with anybody else, okay? They would put black men, weed, black men, marijuana, black men, reefer, chronic, endo, doja, Buddha, any motherfucking term that has something to do with green, they was putting black men in Zaza, black men in cigarellos, black men in Swisher Sweets, black men in Phillies. Man, I'm talking about every motherfucking thing they could to associate us with weed so they can make it look like it was a victory. That's all they have is fake victories. Fake ass victories that can't be touched, can't be seen, nobody accepts it except for they sorry asses. And they sit there and expect us to fall for that shit. No, not anymore. Black folks used to point to all them fake victories back in the day. That's until the black grassroots showed up. That's until the black grassroots ran the black mainstream so far at the fucking building you can't see them no more. Hell nah. If it ain't something real, then we gonna call that shit out. If it ain't something that we can feel, we gonna call that shit out. If it isn't something that has tangibly improved the black community, we gonna let you know about it. No more can you show up to us and say, look at all the things the Democrats have done for y'all. Look at all those policies that Barack Obama has done. And then we turn around and look at the statistics and see that black folks suffer the most under Barack Obama. No longer are we gonna sit there and see the Democrats get 90% of the fucking vote. But then we turn around and see that Joe Biden has written policies for everybody else. Nope, we're going to call that shit out. And it all starts with getting called out. And once you call it out, you frame it. Once you frame it, you highlight it. And once you highlight it, you expose that shit. And we've exposed them to the T. That's why they can't come around no more. So when D.L. Hughley was having that little interview talking that bullshit, wasn't nobody paying no attention. Wasn't nobody paying no attention. As a matter of fact, listen.
You spoke to President Biden on election day, right? And he said democracy is on the ballot. I don't know why they keep saying that because it understates, I think, what is actually happening in this country. We're on the fast track to fascism, right? But isn't he the president? Ain't he the person who can protect us best? What do you think of the job he's been doing?
I think that when you look at the fact that, I remember when everybody made a big deal when Trump let Kodak Black and Lil Wayne out. Biden freed the block from weed, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are things that have happened that I never thought would. I never thought a president would say, if you have a simple marijuana possession, that'll be expunged. I never thought.
The only problem with that, though, is that there's nobody locked up for simple marijuana possession on a federal level.
No, but there are people that are. See, I think that most like most anything else, it is the gateway. It's the gateway to having most states deal with this and kind of make it a non-issue. I never thought I'd see anything on climate. I never thought anybody would give anything to students at all. So I think I've seen things, and particularly with the limitations he had in the Congress and Senate. I think he's done some things I've never legislatively thought possible.
So you think he's doing a decent job?
I do. Okay. I do.
Of course you think he's doing a great job because you are Democratic shield and you are Massa's little pet, so you think every goddamn thing he does is a great job. And y'all notice how he said he thinks he did a great legislative job with the problems he had with the Senate and the House? The Democrats controlled everything. So once again, that lies out the window. Don't let nobody keep trying to tell you that the Democrats just couldn't get nothing done because the Republicans was blocking them. They got something done for every other group. You don't hear that excuse. You only hear the Republicans were blocking us when it comes to the Democrats not serving black people. That's the only time. So whenever they sit here, like D.L. Hughley just sat there and said, oh, he was being blocked by the Senate and the House. But in reality, the Democrats had control over everything, so they could have easily did it. And you notice how he tried to pull that little weed, whatever shit he was trying to say? And when he was corrected, he shifted immediately. And he said, oh no, I'm just saying, I never thought it would be said. So that shit went from Joe Biden freed the block and he's some type of fucking savior to, I know he didn't save anybody. I just never thought it would happen. He immediately shifted from trying to speak on some fake tangibles that don't exist to a bunch of symbolism and a bunch of gestures. That's what they always do. And we see they ass. That right there is the definition of Massa's little pet. Look at him. Joe Biden pardoned the block. Charlemagne just sat there and told this man that it's basically a bunch of bullshit. He still was lying. This is what I'm saying. You can show a motherfucker the facts, put it in their face, and they still gonna jump to that damn Disneyland. The same fucking Disneyland that Stephen A. Smith is in saying, 65 years ago, you not racist no more, you retired. The same Disneyland that the Little Rock 9 guy was talking about inclusion and people of color and Pinocchio and Winnie the Pooh. That same shit when reality is whooping your ass. The facts have passed you by and the truth is too hard for you to handle. That same fantasy is the first stop designation where these motherfuckers resort to. That's exactly where they live, and that's exactly where we gonna keep their ass because they can't come around us. So D.L. Hughley, you already know what he is. He's a sucker. Don't nobody pay attention to no damn D.L. Hughley. Straight up and down. He's a Democratic shield, always gonna be one. Mind you, this is the same guy who's talking about, man, y'all just be nice to the queen. I mean, she may have did some things a long time ago when she was young, but she done changed. As a matter of fact, damn, y'all notice when you exposing one lie, you'll end up exposing another lie. On the path to exposing this coon, you might expose 3 other coons in the process. This is what happens, man, all the time. The same shit that happened with Jerry Jones. Ain't that the same thing they was trying to pull with the fake ass Queen of England? Didn't they do the same exact thing? Y'all remember that? Oh, she might have been racist back in the day, and it was very complicated, but she turned out to be a real good woman. You feel me? All that I done retired from being a supremacist. They'll have a whole long line of people that they've harmed. They'll have whole countries where they harm people. Put whole countries in bondage. Locked whole countries up. And motherfuckers will still think they retired from the shit. You don't retire from being a supremacist. You do not retire from being anti-black. Those are lifelong jobs, and once you put that badge on, that badge sticks with you forever. I don't give a fuck how many sellouts, how many counterfeits, how many smuts or sambos try to tell you another story. Nope, once a supremacist, always a supremacist. That's what it is, no debate, no compromise. So they try to pull the same exact motherfucking thing with the Queen of England that they did with Jerry Jones. D.L. Hughley was the main one on there saying, be nice to the queen, and can't we have a heart, and ain't we all Christians? He was the main one. So you see right here, he caping for Joe Biden. He excused Joe Biden's racism. Remember they told us that Joe Biden retired from being racist. Joe Biden got a laundry list of racist slurs all the way from 1960 all the way to last Monday. And black folks were still making excuses for him. They always try to past tense anti-blackness. That's one of the things they've done. They've had studies that show you the dominant society has only ever admitted to racism when they can put it in a past tense form. The reason why they do that is because the past tense, they can exonerate the people who are no longer living anymore, and they can say, oh, that's how they was. Or they can take the people who are still here and they can say, oh, they did it when they were children. They'll never admit to anti-blackness right here, right now, today. You ask them, is racism real today? They'll say, no, racism went away. Nope, racism is much, much better today. 60 years from now, they'll say, yeah, it was true. There was some racism, but everybody got better. They have literally done studies, family, that shows you that they will only admit to anti-blackness in a past form, never in a present form. Now, who the fuck wouldn't do that? I'll admit right now that I skipped some classes in high school. Yeah, you know why? Because I ain't gonna get in trouble for it. Anytime they feel they're free, they'll say whatever the fuck they want to say. That's exactly what they do. Now look at it. Joe Biden, they say he retired from being a W supremacist, even though he's got a fucked up track record of anti-black racism. Jerry Jones, they say he's retired from being a W supremacist, and he's got a fucked up track record of anti-black racism. And the fake ass Queen of England, they said that she retired from being a W supremacist, and she had the most fucked up track record of being an anti-black racist. Now that's all the way from the Dallas Cowboys to the White House to Buckingham Palace. Damn right, we call a spade, and we call a supremacist. No debate. Hey, and that's why they mad. They mad because we don't let up. They think they're gonna tire us out. They think the exposing is gonna stop. The regulating is gonna stop. They think we just gonna wake up, family, tomorrow and just be like, you know what? We tired of exposing y'all supremacists. We tired of calling out all the anti-blackness. We tired of running all the tellers out the country. We just gonna take a break. We just gonna go lay down for a little bit and quit. Shit, you better take another look. FBA Freeman on a mission. We don't get tired. Shit, we turn up. Let the tellers take a nap. Let the Sambos take a nap. Let them go get their coon sleep. While they doing that, we're going to be out here regulating. We're going to be out here G-checking. We're going to be out here getting to the bag. Bottom line, and we all know how it ends. Foundational black Americans on top, and everybody else got to bow down. But let me throw one more thing in here. Let me get this real clear. Let me make this straight. Chris Brown. I got to bring up Chris Brown because remember, they were just booing Chris Brown. They was trying to cut his performance. Kelly Rowland had to G-check the whole crowd. They all woke up yesterday and said, we mad at Chris Brown again. Why? I don't know why. Because we couldn't get him before. That's really why. Because when supremacy can't get you now, they get even more angry and then they make up even more shit. So let's get this real. Chris Brown has never been forgiven for what he did as a teenager that he apologized for and admitted to. But the Queen of England, they say, is reformed and got better. Joe Biden, they say, is reformed and got better. And Jerry Jones is reformed and got better. And all these Massa's little pets will go around and make excuses for him, but when it comes to Chris Brown, they'll make him wear that for life. And that's what it always is with a black person. If your ass skips class in high school, like I did a few times, if your ass cheats on the test in 3rd grade, which I might have done a few times, who knows, I don't fucking remember. Either way, if you do any of that, they will make you wear that for life, and they will associate that with every single thing you do forever. We've seen it. Trayvon Martin got suspended from school. Sandra Bland made some mean Facebook posts. Mike Brown's parents were divorced. George Floyd was on fentanyl. It's always some type of justification and excuse to harm us, and it's always some type of justification and excuse to let them off the hook. We don't let motherfuckers off the hook. We don't let them off the hook. If you ever practice anti-black racism one day in your motherfucking life, I'm gonna make you wear that jacket forever. And we gonna make sure that jacket fits, and we gonna make sure that motherfucker's with you everywhere you go. You can call up Stephen A. Smith, Charles Barkley. I don't give a flying fuck. You call up any goddamn body. You can call that 1-900-COON motherfucking hotline till it quits ringing. I'm gonna tell you like this. If you practice any form of anti-blackness on my people, then my people gonna regulate your ass, frame your ass, highlight your ass, and G-check your ass. How does that sound? That's the way it's supposed to be. You're not gonna run around here no more and make excuses about a global system that has oppressed my people for 500 years. Think about that, family. You're talking about a global system that has oppressed people for 500 years. I'm talking about generation after generation after generation. Our people have dealt with trauma. We literally have statistics and studies that are coming out showing you the effect that dealing with anti-black racism has done to our bodies, okay? There are actual ailments and conditions that we suffer from exclusively just because we suffer from anti-blackness exclusively. You want to talk about mental health? They'll run around all goddamn day long and talk about these privileged W's suffer from mental health so they commit these atrocities, but yet black folks suffer from mental health every goddamn day and don't harm nobody. We stay on our own lane, we take care of our own business, and we provide for our family. But we don't run around here harming folks, committing atrocities, and saying, I was sick in the head all damn day. Knowing all of those things we just talked about the mental health, about the physical ailments and the conditions that our people pass away from. Look at the statistics. Every time you see something that is high in the black community, I'm talking about high blood pressure. Where the fuck you think high blood pressure comes from? High blood pressure comes from the stress of anti-blackness that has been inherited upon you. Mind you, if you are a black person living today, which is all of us, by the time you were already born in the hole. Okay? Not born on the surface, not born in the fucking tree. You were born in a hole already in terms of anti-blackness where the whole goddamn world hates you. Not a couple people, not 3 or 4 or 5 people who hate you. You got a whole fucking world that conspires against you and wants nothing more than to get you out the pain. This is what we have to deal with. So when you start talking about stress, high blood pressure, you start talking about heart disease, all of these things are linked back to black folks dealing with anti-black racism. Whether that is from the direct stress that we receive, whether that's from the food that we have to eat, which we grew up eating because they used to give us scraps, or that is just because black folks are conditioned to live in this type of environment, it still goes to show you that letting motherfuckers off the hook ain't going to fly. And as I said earlier, the next 50 years ain't going to look like the last 50 years. That's exactly what the fuck I mean. It ain't going to be people running around trying to make light of what we've had to deal with, trying to minimize the strife that we've had to deal with. Fuck to the no. It may have been cool for all them suckers in the past to say, man, it ain't really supremacy, it's hip-hop music. Think about all that shit, family. Think about all the things that a lot of those old Negroes used to tell us was the responsible factors of racism, and it was never the actual racist. Remember that? It was hip-hop, it was Tupac, it was Snoop Dogg, it was loud music, it was sagging pants, it was baby mama drama, it was everything other than the goddamn supremacists. You know why? Because they're doing the same thing that Stephen A. Smith's doing today. They were running around trying to let the supremacists off the hook and trying to blame us. There was this whole push to blame us for our oppression. Think about that. The dominant society's been doing that for years. What about black on black crime? It's really reverse racism. Y'all do it too. That's the same exact thing that Stephen A. Smith is doing. Stephen A. Smith will never say no type of shit like that in regards to the things that go on in the dominant society's community. Hell to the no. He'll keep his motherfucking mouth closed. But yet when it comes to us, he'll sit there and point the finger. And this is what we talk about putting a system in place of punishment if you do not match the code of conduct. So we're saying it right now. We're putting this in the universe and we're putting it all on the line, family. It's like this. Either you will be on code and you will empower the black community as a whole, or your ass will be off code and you will get your ass G-checked by the black community as a whole. So you got two choices. Stand with us collectively or get your ass checked by us collectively. Make a choice. Make a goddamn choice. Now, with that said, family, y'all know it's been good. Y'all know it's been love. I appreciate the appreciation. I'm turned up today. Shit, I'm turned up every day. What am I saying? But right now, I'm extra turned up because I'm feeling the energy from the people. I'm feeling the energy from all of us. This year right now has been crazy. It felt like this last year was 10 years in one. Didn't it feel that way? I mean, so many things have been going on. We've done historic things. We've networked. We've rallied. We've got together. We made our reparations claim. We pulled up to Washington, D.C., family, and told everybody we are here to get our check. This is monumental. You can't point back to any other year and say this happened. You can't. Like, you can't go back and say, oh, yeah, we did that already. Oh, yep, we did that too. Nope, we did that as well. No, I say it all the time right here on the Black Alpha Network, fam. Everything we doing right now is fresh. It's new. Our terminologies are new. Our approaches are new. The way we're conducting ourselves and handling our business is new. And the reparations rally that we did, that was new. It was fresh. So if you want to know if this is a dawn of a new day, look at what we're doing right now that is new opposed to what is old and doesn't go on anymore. There's phrases that are old that we don't say anymore. There's approaches that are old that we don't take anymore. There's people that are old that we don't fuck with anymore. There is a heightened sense and an urgency amongst our people and a very strong vibe, frequency, and energy that you cannot hide. You can't hide it. You can see it with your eyes closed. You can feel it even when you're not near it. I see it in all the chats. I see it in the spaces. I see it out in the streets. I seen it at the reparations rally. I might pull up to somebody else's chat and I feel it. When brothers and sisters talk to you, when we look at each other in the eye, we all know what's going on. We all know what's going on. We all know that we're making history. And we understand every single day when we wake up, it's a game changer. And it's all because of us, and we're all responsible. Quote to Huey P. Newton. He said, suffering is good for the soul. And since we suffered a lot, that means our soul is even stronger. Let me share a story with you, family, before I close up this episode of the Black AlphaCast, and I appreciate the tap in. At the reparations rally, I had an opportunity to speak and to finally meet somebody that I hold in very, very high regard, and that's Brother Dr. Kaba. Okay, I got to meet Dr. Kaba. I've studied, I've listened to Dr. Kaba in my own personal lifetimes where I've had very, very hard moments that I had to go through. When my father passed away unexpectedly last year, just a lot of things that I had to deal with, and I used to always listen to this brother, and his words helped guide me. His words gave me strength. So it was a great opportunity, and I always cherish the moment where I got to meet this master teacher. Dr. Kaba has a lesson that he gave, and I told him this. I told him that I used to watch this particular video all the time when I was dealing with my father's passing. And he talks about when your life is on track to destiny and when your life is off destiny, okay? And he said, our ancestors, they didn't believe in good and evil, okay? They believed in what you are when you're on the right path and what you are when you're knocked off your path. And we all get knocked off our path, but it's not about getting knocked off your path. It's about fixing it and getting back on it. So in basic terms, as we would all say, it's not about getting knocked down, it's about getting back up. It's about how much stronger you go after you've dealt with your own personal adversity, and we've all dealt with our own personal adversity. Some of us are dealing with it right now. Some of us have conquered it. Some of us are going to conquer it in the future. And I will say this, anybody who's going through anything right now, I don't care if it's financially, it's personally, it's mental health, it's your own personal health, whatever it is, right here, I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, hope you get through it. And if you ever need Black Alpha Network, DM me and we will chop it up on everything I love, because I love the family. So Brother Kaba speaks about how we don't pick our destiny calls us. That's why it's called a calling. You feel me? For everybody who's seen this video and heard this brother speak this lesson, you know what I'm talking about. Your destiny is your calling, and we don't choose it. It chooses us. That's why it's called a calling. And family, I'm gonna put it like this, and it hit me real hard. I was like, damn, facts. We've all been called by our destiny. And our destiny and our duty is to empower this beautiful, powerful lineage, heritage, and culture that has had to deal with things that no one else could imagine, but yet our resume stacks up over everybody else's. They talk about the rose that grew from concrete. Well, we are the whole rose garden that grew from concrete, because not only are we still here, we're thriving. We're thriving because of unity. We're thriving because we're connected. We're thriving because we are a family. And this family tree is unbreakable. This family tree is untouchable. This family tree is unmatched. And this family tree is stronger than ever. I love y'all with a passion, man. Everybody, one love. I had to share that story that Dr. Kaba spoke to me about. I told that to Dr. Kaba. One love to him. He looked me in my eyes and said, I appreciate you, brother. And I smiled from ear to ear because that's a great master teacher. And as long as we got our master teachers, as long as we got our students, as long as we got the past, the present, and the future, nothing can stop us because we are on top. Y'all have a great day, a great evening. Keep your eyes on the prize and always remember every single day that you wake up, Massa's pets gonna be out here, Zaddy's protectors gonna be out here, but they gonna have to fall to the motherfucking wayside because foundational black Americans are beautiful and beautiful is always black.